is Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? It's Wednesday. July 9th. This year is just trucking along, isn't it?
It is. You know what's going to be here before you know it. Christmas. Yeah.
What are you laughing about? Why Christmas isn't funny?
Is that a joke
Christmas
to you,
is a
Matt?
magical time. We should be excited. We could have Christmas in July.
The youth these days, they think everything's a joke.
Yeah, I don't care for them.
I don't care for it either.
314-436-7900. Join us, won't you? Odyssey app, we have that where you listen to us live and get the podcast later. You can also get the podcast wherever you get your podcast typically. But leave us a voice message on the Odyssey app, and we would like for you to stare at us while we talk. And you can do
that way.
You can do that with YouTube, Facebook, KMOX News, you find us, or Twitter at Chris Amy KMOX.
Time now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everyone will be talking about.
Well, it has finally happened. The Gateway Arch Park Foundation has closed on the former Millennium Hotel property, so that derelict, vacant building will soon, hopefully very soon, become something cool downtown.
And Ranji wants those weeds.
I want the weeds from the roof.
I mean, it is a huge day for Chris Ranji because also Sheriff Alfred Montgomery's hearing begins today, I should say, with Attorney General Andrew Bailey pushing for the sheriff to be removed from office. Ranji's Save My Sheriff SMS campaign is on the rocks.
Cardinals beat the Nationals last night. They started the game at 9 o'clock, a lengthy rain delay, but they get the win. They'll play again tonight, 6:45. And guess what? At 9:30, so coming up here very shortly, 25 minutes from now, we are going to talk to Adam Wainwright.
Uncle Charlie.
Uncle Charlie will be on the show.
Awesome.
We will talk to Alderwoman Shamim Clark Hubbard. We're going to talk about Covenant House, which was our charity of the week last week. And as we do our 100 acts of kindness in partnership with Jerry Kelly, heating and air conditioning and electrical. And Shamim has gone through the experience, and they do the sleep out thing where they, you learn what it's like to live on the street for a night. So we're going to talk to her about that, some other things going on. John Rooney, she'll join us at 10. John Rooney at 10:30. And we hope to check in with reporter Sean Malone, who's pulling double duty today. So he's very, very busy. He's covering the Millennium Hotel. He's covering Sheriff Montgomery's hearing. So this could end up being, for me, a very great day. Could be a bad day, too, if something bad happens to my sheriff.
Yeah.
Also, if I don't get those weeds from the roof of the Millennium Hotel, that could be a bad thing, too. So one way or the other, this is a very big day for me.
Yeah. Yes. The good news is the executive director of the Gateway Arch National Park, Ryan McClure, is a friend of the show.
Yes.
And you have made your weed wishes known to Mr. McClure.
Now, he seemed lukewarm on it.
I will say he was very non-committal about the weeds.
But he didn't say no.
Here's what it felt like to me, that it was an absolutely not, but I'm going to be diplomatic about it. And so he equivocated extensively. I don't know that you're going to get those weeds. If anybody listening right now is either with Cordish, which is the St. Louis Cardinals development partner on Ballpark Village, they are the ones doing the $670 million remake of the Millennium property, along with the Gateway Arch Park Foundation. Maybe Cordish or the Gateway Arch Park Foundation, anybody has any help on getting those weeds off the top of the building? Ron would like to put them in a pot and put them in his new home.
I would be so happy for people to come over and say, what is that? And I'd say, well, funny story. You ever been to Busch Stadium? You ever been to a Cardinals game and then just looked out at the skyline during the game and you see this cylindric hotel? Is that the right word?
No.
Cylindrical. Close enough. So you see this hotel. Really, it was a fun building. I used to go to that building. We used to, come in from out of town when I was in college and stay there for tournaments and whatnot. And, you look up there and you see the rooftop and you look closer and you think, those are weeds.
Yeah.
There are weeds growing out of the top of a building in a prominent place
So-
in downtown St. Louis where you can see them while the Cardinals game is going on. And all I want
Mhm.
is to have those weeds in my house.
Mhm.
I don't think that's too much to ask.
It's not a big ask. Here's the thing, though, that just really occurred to me. Have you ever seen a moose in real life? Okay.
No.
You haven't.
Do they have those at the zoo? Probably not.
Probably not. But picture a moose in your head. Everybody do this right now. Picture how big you think a moose is. You're all wrong. It's so much bigger than that. It's so much bigger. I think Jim Gaffigan even does a bit about this, that however big you think a moose is, you're wrong. It's huge. It's like 12 feet tall.
Mhm.
Okay. I bring this up because
Bigger than Clydesdales, I think, aren't they?
Oh, way bigger than Clydesdale. A moose could step on a Clydesdale.
Yeah.
And I bring this up because when you think of the Millennium Hotel, I always picture the roof being like level with the edge that you're looking at, but it's not. That roof probably is down about 4, 5, 6 feet minimum from the edge that you're looking at, right? The roof is not completely flat like an iced cake. Second of all, if you can see weeds from the ballpark, I have a feeling these weeds might
Pretty
be like
big.
12 feet tall, Ron.
Pretty big,
I think
yeah.
it might be more like a tree. In my head, I was going to bring like a little 6-inch pot, like a yard
Oh,
weed.
no.
These weeds, I think, are
Yeah.
going to be 10 feet tall. They
Yeah.
have to be. If they can grow over the edge of the roof, like I said, the roots are not even with the edge of the roof that we see. The roots have to be 4 or 5 or 6 feet lower than that. And then you can see them from the ballpark. I think you're going to have 10 to 12-foot weeds.
So you wonder why we're
Moose
talking
height.
about these stupid weeds.
Yes.
And it is a bit of a joke. But I thought they were very indicative over the last, because I moved back here in 2017
Mhm.
and I went to a Cardinals game that year. And that's when I noticed them for the first time. I thought that's a really bad look. And all that we talk about with St. Louis and
Yeah.
how much improvement we need, and visitors coming in and exploring downtown, and there's not a whole lot to do. And they probably can walk several blocks and not really run into very many businesses. There's just a lot
Okay.
that you can take issue with. And I just thought, to have this
Mhm.
prominent place in downtown, all of this space,
Mhm.
and this building is vacant. How many major cities have something like that? Have this building right in the heart of downtown, right by the jewel of your city, which is Busch Stadium. Other than the arch
Yeah.
itself, you've got Busch Stadium, which is a tourist attraction, and you have people coming in. And if they look around, you'll look up in the outfield and you see this building with weeds growing out of the roof. And I always thought that was indicative of just where we were as a city. And I just thought it looked really, really bad.
Well, I can tell you how many cities have that. And the answer is not many. You know why? Because when the Hollywood producers who filmed Escape from New York were looking
in the 80s.
in the 80s,
Yeah.
were looking for a city that gave post-apocalyptic New York City vibes, they chose St. Louis.
They chose Midtown.
Yes, they chose St. Louis because, listen to this, because of its abundance of older buildings and a certain, quote, seedy, rundown quality.
Yeah.
That's how they described St. Louis.
Yeah.
So we
And so, I mean, there were
need
a
to
couple
work
of
on that.
things there. And one of them is, so this has been a viewpoint of the city for quite some time, because that's
Mhm.
back in the 80s we're
80s.
talking about, right?
81.
So it's just, I know it's not the biggest deal in the world. And I made a joke of those stupid weeds, but it seems like a symptom of a problem that I hope we are on the road to addressing. And this sale going through,
Yeah.
and the plans, we've seen we've seen the sketches of what they plan to do with that area, residential, office space.
They are, just in case you're wondering, they are knocking down the original
Right,
two
they're not gonna-
towers,
yeah.
of the Millennium Hotel.
And I have good memories there. I love that hotel. I wish it hadn't gone derelict. But the fact that something is moving forward, they're going to do something with it, that makes me happy, because that's the sort of progress we need in the city. And I'm sure not everybody is happy with this project, but man, I don't know how you can find a whole lot of fault with it. And we have to do it. We have to do stuff like that. And I hope that it breeds more of it in the area, because we desperately
Yeah.
need it in
Well,
the city.
And Cordish, as we mentioned, partnered with the Cardinals to do Ballpark Village. What a a brilliant, fun, classy, gorgeous setting downtown. So excited about what they'll do with that old Millennium Hotel site. Speaking of the Cardinals, by the way, Ranj, this morning I was running with the Forest Park Track Club, and a couple of guys mentioned that they did not go to the Cardinals game because they said they couldn't do a 9 o'clock start on a weekday.
9 o'clock start on a weekday. Pretty rough. Interesting night at the ballpark last night. And if you stayed, good for you. But
give us a shout.
Give us a shout. We'd like to hear from you. If you stayed for a game that ended up starting at 9 o'clock, we'd like to hear from you. 314-436-7900. Amy Marks scores. Chris Ranji is the Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
You know your customers. Ralph likes his coffee black on Fridays, but Mondays he takes a little cream. Jennifer comes in every 3 years when her lease is up to get the newer and better model. And for some reason, pepperoni pizza sells like crazy on Friday nights. Who knew? At Odyssey, we have the expertise to get your media plan done right. With ads like you're hearing right now, to targeted social media campaigns, search engine optimization, and location-based advertising. Advertise with Odyssey and help us grow your business. Visit ads.odyssey.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind, to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-408-4040. That's 800-408-4040. 800-408-4040.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is, who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Well, if you can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence, Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation today, 314-569-1050. Now hiring qualified carpenters. BannerConstruction.com.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler for 213 Complex, which is available at Supplement Superstores. Look, 213 Complex is the most effective and powerful all-natural weight loss supplement ever developed, and here's why. It optimizes thyroid function, and it boosts your metabolism 24 hours a day, while you're sleeping too. So you're burning more stored body fat. Also getting that appetite and craving control that I love. You get all-day focused energy with no jitters, so all you need to do is get out to Supplement Superstores, tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off 213 Complex. Find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Vira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
It's the Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX, sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium. Explore the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station.
We got tickets to give away today. Lots of tickets. We have tickets for the Beach Boys.
Yes, we do.
Who are at Chesterfield Amphitheater in September. We have tickets for Collective Soul and Live. They are
or
playing.
Live, we're not sure.
We are sure it's live. And they're playing on the 17th of this month. And that'll be at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. You've got to be listening for your chance to win today. Tickets for both shows. You don't get to win tickets for both.
Oh, no, you can't do that. That's cheating.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
You can only win once today. So just
otherwise, the cops will come and get you.
Like the tax people who called me, which was totally not a scam, and said, if you don't pay your taxes, we are going to call the cops on. They literally said, we are going to call the cops, which is how, the IRS usually operates. They say, we're going to call the cops on you. Anyway. So last night, they told everybody, 3 hours before the game actually started, or before the 9 o'clock first pitch. So about 6 o'clock, I think, the Cardinals tweeted out that they were not going to start on time because of rain in the area. And I appreciate that. I think everybody appreciates that. You'd like to know. But I'm stunned that I guess I'm not. I shouldn't say that I'm stunned, but they didn't start the game until 9 o'clock, which is very late for it to not be like a playoff game or something like that. But I know what it is. It's because they've had 6 doubleheaders already this year, and we are barely halfway through the season. They didn't want to play another doubleheader tomorrow or Thursday.
I forgot.
So I don't blame them, I guess.
What is the doubleheader rule that's in the CBA about split doubleheaders? There can only be so many, and then you have to ask the players.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many it is, but there is a rule. And there should be, because split doubleheaders are awful. The Cardinals don't want to lose the gate money. And so I think people understand this, but if you don't, if there is a doubleheader and it's the straight doubleheader where you play a game, wait a half hour, play another, you only get the ticket sales for one game, as opposed to play the game, clear everybody out of the ballpark, bring everybody who has tickets for the other game back in, then you get ticket sales for both. I don't think the Cardinals wanted to forfeit another game, and I don't blame them for that, because that's a lot of revenue for one day. So that is completely understandable. I'm wondering how many people wait through a rain delay like that.
314-436-7900. Call or text, or leave us a voice message on the Odyssey app. But would love to hear from you about waiting through a long rain delay.
Because I will tell you this, when I was growing up and then got into high school, and then when I was back home for summers in college, and I would go to Cardinals games, I loved it when there was the threat of rain, because I liked the idea of getting to sit through the rain delay, find a place in the ballpark, hang out, have a hot dog, have another soda, while the rain comes down, and you find a place where you have some cover. And that meant you get to be in the park for another couple of extra hours. I loved it. But then I started working in baseball, and I hated rain delays. They were the worst, because the games are already 3.5 hours, and then you have this hour or 2 hour rain delay. Just, I know nobody felt sorry for me working in baseball, but still, it was a lot.
So speaking of rain delays, I don't even want to bring this up, because it is one of the worst moments of my life. I say that I'm being dramatic. One of the worst non-actually traumatic moments of my life, right? Where I cried. So they always say that, doing the right thing helps you sleep at night. You never regret doing the right thing. And I have always stood by that, except for this one time. I regret doing the right thing. So I was playing college hockey in 2006, and I had tickets. And you can correct me on the rain out game. I thought it was game 4, but I had tickets to game 5 for the World Series. In 2006, I had those tickets, and whatever game was rained out, I cannot remember.
I don't either.
In the World Series, game 5 game. Well, when did they win the World Series? What game? In 6 games or 5 games in 2006?
6.
Okay. That was so uncertain. At any rate, I had tickets to game 5, and it was rained out. So whatever they did is they flipped it so that if you had tickets to that game, you got tickets to game 6. They basically flipped it because they canceled the game.
5 games.
5
It's
games.
5, okay.
Then it was 3 and 4. At any rate, I was playing college.
Unimportant detail.
Unimportant. But I was
You're
playing
welcome.
college hockey at the time. And we had a big tournament that weekend where we were hosting, like, I don't know, Colorado and Chicago. And I was the worst one on the team, so I didn't always dress for the games. And if I did dress, I didn't get ice time. So I had these tickets. The game got rained out, and I said, hey, I can't make game 6. I'll swap out game 5 tickets with you, or 4 and 5, whatever it is the number is. So we swapped them out. And of course, we all know the Cardinals won the World Series on the game that I had tickets to that I gave up for my hockey tournament because I realized just because you're the worst one on the team, you can't say, well, I'm not going to go to the games because I'm not going to play anyway. I dressed for both games. I was cold because I think I had one shift in 2 games, literally played 45 seconds in back-to-back games. I got off the ice from the second game just as Yadier Molina was rushing Adam Wainwright because he was the closer in that series and they won the World Series. I took off my equipment, which wasn't sweaty because I didn't play. I drove home and I cried in bed because I had tickets to a World Series winning game and I gave them up because I did the right thing because I knew
the right thing is to go to the World Series
but the
and
thing
support
is
your hometown.
You can't say I'm not going to show up for my team
Yes,
because
you can.
I'm the worst one.
Yes,
well,
you can because you're showing up for your real team.
I told
the team
my-
that you've been following your whole life.
I told my college coach, I said, hey, I had tickets to those game and I know I needed to be a team player. And I showed up for the turn. He
said, we didn't even know you were here.
Yeah, he goes, wow, if I were you, I would have gone to the World Series.
Yeah, because
He's like you're the least important player. But I just thought that was such a bad attitude from me to say just because I'm not getting ice time, I'm not going to show up. But
no, that's not why.
I have regretted that.
Yeah.
And this was this wasn't a rec league.
Because do you
it wasn't rec league. It was college hockey.
Amy, you understand
yes
that you will never
get that chance again.
Never. You will never in your entire life.
You don't need to remind me.
Have tickets for a game clincher in the World Series.
I'm the only person who knows how Dan Marino feels. He went to the Super Bowl his freshman year of the NFL, his rookie year.
Oh.
And he never went back, never won.
Oh.
That's how I feel.
No. You are far less talented than Dan Marino.
I feel like Dan Marino. He'll never have that chance again. He went to the Super Bowl his rookie year, never won his whole career. Never, ever lifted the Lombardi Trophy.
Right. So, yeah, I guess.
I had the tickets for the World Series clinching game in my hand, and I didn't go.
Ridiculous.
Do you know?
Ridiculous.
I cannot tell you this keeps me up at night.
It should. It should.
I was trying to be a team player. I was trying to not be selfish. I knew I wouldn't play, but I got that spot on the team, and another girl did not. I beat someone else for that last spot on the team, and she cried when she didn't make the team, and she left. I had that spot. I valued that spot. I wanted to be a good team player because they kept me on that team because I was like Rudy. I was an inspiration.
Look, nobody would have blamed you for exhibiting a little civic pride. Nobody was going to be upset with you.
Well, I learned that now, but I was trying to be a team player. You know, I would do that for this stupid show. I would probably be like, well, I can't leave Ranji and Matt here, even though I have World Series tickets. That's what I did.
Man, I would leave you for Battlehawks tickets. Love the Battlehawks. Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji. We're with you until 12 o'clock today. Then it's the Gas House Gang. Tom Akron and me, we'll talk some baseball with you. But when we come back, the person who closed out that game that Amy didn't go to, Adam Wainwright. He joins the show next on 104.1 FM KMOX.
The Dave Glover Show.
If you sit down with me and we talk about who I am, what I am, my values, political, voting record, you're never going to walk away and go, that guy's a bleeding heart progressive. I'm just not stupid. And I just don't take bait. And I just don't do things because you tell me to, or that I'm afraid that if I don't, fall in line or get on the bandwagon, people aren't going to like me. Been there, done that for years.
The Dave Glover Show, now on FM 104.1 FM KMOX.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. Saturday, August 2nd, Thunder Ridge Nature Arena. With very special guest, Daughtry. And Mammoth. Tickets on sale now at LiveNation.com. Don't miss Creed with Daughtry and Mammoth. The Summer of '99 tour.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision. It should not be based on advertising.
Hey, it's Matt, your Leaf Filter Trusted Pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
Currently at 73 degrees downtown, already feels like 87. The high today, 91, a low of 69. Weather sponsored by the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company, PennMutual.com/STL. Are you considering life insurance? Penn Mutual's accelerated client experience makes applying for life insurance fast and easy. Ask your independent advisor or go to PennMutual.com/STL.
Hi, Stacy with Fairwinds Rivers Edge Senior Living in St. Charles. Are you a senior seeking a fun retirement? Do you want less work and more play? Do you want to enjoy great food that you don't have to cook? Then I know. Stop what you're doing right now and call Fairwinds. Set up a time to visit and have a meal. Meet some of our awesome residents. Check us out online at fairwindsriversedge.com. We hope to talk with you soon.
The heat's really been extreme last week or so. I have a wife that's going through change of life, and she woke me up at 3 a.m. and said there's something wrong with the air conditioner. I checked the thermostat, and it's set at 66, and it is saying 66. Like we set it every single night. I said, okay, how do you feel? She said, okay, well, as long as it's 66. And then within 2 minutes, all the covers are back on her, and she says she is freezing. I said, honey, the air conditioner isn't broke. Your thermostat is broke. So if you're living that way, my advice is this. I'm not the brightest bulb in the box, but here's what I do. I keep my laughter inside. It is real what they're feeling. You don't need to call me. You can say you called me, but you don't need to call me. Save your money. This is Bart Inman. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. God bless.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call us now. $30 billion was set aside for meso victims. And in most cases, your claim is settled out of court without a jury trial. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Today, the Cards, the Nationals.
Ameren Total Access 550.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
The 2-1 pitch with 2 outs. A swing, and it's popped up. Tommy Edman goes out. He's under it. He makes the catch. It's a Waino Redbird winner. 200 career victories for Adam Wainwright. Light up the night for Waino.
Coming up on July 27th at the Factory in Chesterfield, it is the Big League Bash featuring our next guest, Adam Wainwright, and friends. So that is, we're just a couple of weeks away from that, so you want to get your tickets for it. And we are joined now on the guest line by former Cardinals pitcher Adam Wainwright. He is with us now. How's it going, Adam?
Great. Thanks for playing that hype music, man. That was awesome.
Well, it felt good, right? Well, let me give you just a little bit of something that's going to make you feel worse. My partner here, Amy, she had tickets for the game in the World Series that you closed it out.
Because of the rain out, my tickets got switched, so I got the game-winning tickets.
And she missed it to go play hockey.
So
I just want you to know that she did not see the only opportunity she'll ever have to go to a World Series clincher.
Adam, I have to clarify that I know I threw away that opportunity. I was playing college ice hockey at the time. I was the worst one on the team. And I felt like I couldn't just not show up because I knew I wouldn't get ice time. I was trying to make the right team decision. And normally you don't feel bad after making the right decision, but I feel terrible.
Yeah, I get that. And to his point, I don't feel any worse about it, but you should.
I do. I didn't even get any ice time, Adam. I was terrible. But I know people will be excited to see you at the Big League Bash at the Factory on July 27th. I also have to say, Adam, I love tennis, was watching Wimbledon, and then all of a sudden the announcers started talking about Uncle Charlie.
Yeah, that was a fun day. I was actually in Aspen, Colorado. We just got back from a hike, and I was sitting in the room, and was it Taylor Fritz was playing? I think who's playing right now, and I need to tune in because I think it started at 9:30. I think that's actually our other American in there. Anyways, I was watching the match also, and I stepped out of the room for a bit, and then Jake Westbrook, my old teammate, texted me and said, "Dude, they just name dropped you on the Wimbledon broadcast." I went, "Shut up!" No, he did not. I was just watching it. What are you talking about? He goes, "No, seriously. He goes, hold on. I'll send you the video." So he goes back, and I always call it TiVo, and he looks back at his DVR or whatever, and he sends me the video, and I'm like, "Dude, I turned it off for 5 stinking seconds." But then so I sent the tweet out to who was the great commentator who was on there that day? Anyways, I'll think of it in a second.
Yeah.
I'll think of it in a second. And it was Brad Gilbert was on too, and I sent a tweet out to him, and then 30 seconds later I was like, "Jenny, no, seriously, they talked to me." She's like, "Yeah, right." And I'm like, and then all of a sudden he goes, "Look who just tweeted in, the great Adam Wainwright." And I was like, "Told you. I told you." So that was a cool moment.
Was it Mike Monaco?
Yeah, Mike Monaco.
Yeah, and Brad Gilbert. Well, and it's such a collision of worlds because obviously the Cardinals are everything here in St. Louis, and then to hear them talk about it on Wimbledon, very, very cool.
Yeah, and then I talked to Mike Monaco a couple days later because I was doing a broadcast with Jason Benetti, who's really good friends with Monaco, and we called him, and I got to thank him, for pumping me up on the ESPN Wimbledon broadcast. That was really cool.
I think Monaco's working for the Red Sox, or he was, or I'm not exactly sure, but Benetti's great too. So you've done quite a bit of baseball, broadcasting. How much do you like it?
Say that one more time. You broke up. How much what?
Yeah, how much do you like doing baseball broadcasting?
Well, I really like it because it's a great way to stay in the game without having to spend, these big league coaches get to the park at 11 or 12 and they don't go home till midnight every day. It's tough on a family. So I'm not in that place right now to be able to get away from my family or be away from my family like that. I've already did that. So staying in the game, going to these great venues, watching big league baseball, and and talking about it is a really fun challenge. You know, there's a lot of prep that goes into it, but it's prep I can do at home. But you got to be up to date on who's doing good and who's been kind of struggling, or what guys' strengths are and weaknesses are. And that was kind of my favorite part besides competing. My favorite part of pitching in the big leagues was the preparation and learning those hitters and learning the weaknesses of the other team. I prepare for these broadcasts the same way I did when I was pitching.
Do you think you'd ever want to get back to that grind, be a coach in the big leagues and have to get there early and leave late and do all of that again?
I don't know. Sometimes I think yes, and a lot of times I think no, because I like being able to travel and go on vacations, and I still need to get over to Italy and eat that good food, and and I still got a lot of places I want to go, and I still got by the time I'm an empty nester, I'll be 60 years old. And then by that time, hopefully I got some grandbabies running around. And so I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but I do love coaching. I do love helping young pitchers, especially kind of learn their craft and kind of help them hone in on what they do great. I've had several guys from different organizations fly in to work with me in the off season and just spend a day or two, at the park. That's really fun for me. I love those kinds of things. And I have lots and lots of conversations every year with big league pitchers and minor league pitchers about thought process and mechanical twists. And sometimes on these broadcasts, I get done with one and I go into the manager's office before or after the game and I go, hey man, I'd love to talk to so-and-so because he's doing this like he should be doing it like this, or hey, his mechanics are off this way. And so many of those managers trust me just from coaching against me for a long time, managing against me. So it's been a fun process.
Oh, that's interesting. They don't get, they don't feel like you're stepping on toes. They're like, yeah, go ahead, go talk to him.
No, and I always ask permission. Hey, is it all right if I talk to him about this? And most of the time, they're all so receptive of it because if the end goal is not to get your pitcher better and more prepared to be great when the next time he steps on the mound, then you're not the right guy for the job. That should be everybody's end goal, no matter how they get there.
We were talking about that grind, and from what we understand, your old teammate Yadier wants to be a manager, a big league manager someday. At least that's what we hear, and maybe he changes his mind on that. And I'm assuming you think he would be a good manager. What about him would make him that someday?
Yeah, I think he'll be a great manager. He'll have to have some kind of person who can handle the media, maybe potentially, but as an on the field game manager, there won't be a better one than Yadi. Yeah. There just won't be. I mean, he learned from the best. He's learned from a lot of different managers he had. He learned a lot from Jose Oquendo, who would have been an incredible manager himself, by the way. Jose would have been. There's so many teams that should have hired Jose Oquendo to be their manager. It's crazy that it didn't happen. Jose would have needed somebody to manage the media too, though.
Yeah.
That would have been the tricky part of that. But I'll tell you, Yadi is the smartest on the field player I ever played with. Baseball wise, it doesn't get any better. Instincts off the charts, knowledge off the charts, know-how off the charts, understanding of situations off the charts better than anyone I ever played with. Yeah, it goes Yadi, and then like Albert and Jim Edmonds are tied for second, but Yadi's first. And he'll make an incredible one. I always, like, Jenny and I have that conversation. We're like, all right, we have to have our script laid out ahead of us. If Yadi ever called for us to be like the pitching coach, like, here's how we're going to say no, and here's, like, got it all, like, pre-thought out.
That's impressive.
Because you know what the pitch is going to be, and you're going to have to say no to it.
I feel like it's like Mike Tyson. Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face.
Yeah.
And I feel like when Yadi asks, it would be tough. He just commands so much respect. And I imagine even in the clubhouse, it would be hard to think of a manager who would automatically command and have so much respect from the guys in that clubhouse.
Yeah, he would walk in there and it instantly would go quiet, for sure. He would have everybody's attention.
So, Adam, we wanted to have you on to talk about the Big League Bash coming up at the factory in Chesterfield. It is July 27th, featuring Adam Wainwright and friends. Tell us about this event.
Yeah, July 27th at the factory in Chesterfield, like you said. I'm going to be performing. I'm going to have Austin Bohannon and Joanna Cotton, two great Nashville recording artists, joining me on stage. They're going to be performing different sets as well. I'm going to be telling some Cardinal stories. We're going to have some meet and greets. We're going to be raising money for Big League Impact, which is a charity that I started back in 2013 that helps alleviate the basic essential needs: food, water, shelter, the things that we take for granted. There's a lot of people in St. Louis and around the globe that are struggling with food insecurity or clean water or clothing or medicine or shelter or anything like that. And that's the kind of situations when those storms hit. That tornado ran through Forest Park and St. Louis area. We were able to come to the aid of a lot of people in need in that situation. We were able to help out in a lot of different areas like that, and that's what we exist to do, and also to empower the big league players out there across Major League Baseball to take advantage of the platform they've been given and go out and do great things in their community. We love inspiring big league athletes around Major League Baseball to learn what their passion is, and go out there and make a difference in the world, and that's something that we've really taken seriously as well. So July 27th at the factory, we're gonna have a great show. We're gonna have a great time. We're gonna have some incredible performers on stage. We're gonna have some Cardinals players in attendance, but we're also gonna be, the main objective is to raise a lot of money for the people that we're trying to serve.
Adam, I know you mentioned some of the essentials that Big League Impact can provide. Do you have like a specific story or stories that you would want to share with the listeners saying, I've seen it with my own eyes, this is what we've done?
Yeah, I mean, I could tell you local stories, and I could tell you abroad stories. We for a couple years, we partnered with some local schools in the area, and we found out a bunch of food insecure families that just, the truth of the matter is that a lot of people don't know is so many kids across this country and the world, they eat when they go to school, breakfast, lunch. But when it's not school, when it's summertime, a lot of families don't have any food, and they have really hard time providing meals for their family. And so we were able to find those families for a few years in a row. We've been doing this. We work with Operation Food Search for a long time to locate those families, to provide backpacks full of food delivered every week to those families in need. We've also been over to Haiti with our team for Big League Impact a couple of different times, been to Honduras, been to Dominican Republic, and to see what we're able to do over there as well with the clean water programs that we've done through Water Mission. There's this one place called Milan in Haiti, and we pulled up on the side of this road one time, and there was this little mud puddle in the middle of the road that everybody was driving through, riding bikes through. Donkeys were walking through, dogs are walking through. People are stopping and washing their sandals off in this mud puddle. And then I saw a lady come over with this big yellow bucket and dip it in the thing, fill it up, put it on her head, and walk home. And I said, what is she going to use that water for? They said, everything: cooking, cleaning, washing, everything. And if you were to go back to that exact same spot in Milan, Haiti now, through Big League Impact, we were able to provide a clean water, I don't know what you call it, clean water facility there that provides jobs. But it also, for that little community of 1,500 people, now they have clean water. And so the waterborne illness dropped by 88% in 6 months. And you're talking about when you feel sick from cholera or the other waterborne illnesses, bacteria that's in the water, when you feel sick, you can't go to work, you can't go to school. And now those kids are thriving. And so those are kind of some of the things that we've done over the years. And we've helped out a lot of different ways. We've, since 2013, we raised over $11 million for people in need. And we're going to continue to do that.
Well, it's really great work that Big League Impact has done, and the Big League Impact charity receiving the benefit of the Big League Bash, which will be happening July 27th at the factory in Chesterfield. BigLeagueImpact.org for tickets. Adam Wainwright, before we say goodbye, I know that a couple of months ago, or maybe it was just a little over a month ago, there was some sort of polling that suggested you might be a good candidate for Congress. Would you ever, if you don't want to be a coach, would you ever run for Congress?
I was very honored to be included in that situation. I had no idea which party it was that was attempting to get my attention to run.
It was a Democratic Party. Yeah,
it was, and it didn't matter to me which, because I felt honored either way to be pursued and to feel wanted. But I'll tell you, I would be a good congressman because I would do what I felt was right, and wouldn't let any of those party politics or partisan things make decisions for me. But that is also not something that is on my near horizon, anyways. But it was cool to be mentioned in that.
I'll tell you what, if you ever decide to either coach again or run for Congress, will you let us know first?
Oh yeah, I'll call this show. It'll be this show.
Yes. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
I just told you I would do it right. Now you're trying to get me to lie on air.
He doesn't even know what show this is.
It doesn't matter. It's very, very good.
It's a great show. No, Adam,
It's a very important show.
Adam, we appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we're looking forward to the Big League Bash on July 27th. Thank you.
Yeah, thank y'all so much. Appreciate the time.
Again, BigLeagueImpact.org if you want tickets for Big League Bash featuring Adam Wainwright and friends. It's at the factory in Chesterfield, July 27th, and tickets are available there. We are way late for break, but we don't care. We just talked to Adam Wainwright on the Chris and Amy Show, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Tom Ackerman for Busey Bank and Building Community. We are proud to recognize Doorways as a building community partner. Doorways helps those who are invisible and ignored by society, people navigating poverty, homelessness, and serious illnesses like HIV. While HIV has become treatable, the number of cases continues to rise in the disenfranchised community. Building community means nobody should be invisible. Learn more about Doorways at doorwayshousing.org.
This is Pat Buring, Executive Vice President of Busey Bank. I'm so proud to recognize Doorways, the only agency in the region dedicated to providing housing to individuals living with HIV and their family members. Doorways sees to it that clients receive on-site services to manage their lives, opening doorways to independence and opportunity. That's what building community is all about. Join Busey. Get involved as we continue building the communities we call home.
It doesn't take a lot to make a big difference.
That's why we've teamed up with Jerry Kelly Heating and Cooling to bring you 100 Acts of Kindness.
For the next 6 months, the Chris and Amy Show is challenging you to spread kindness in simple, meaningful ways. No big budget needed.
Write a thank you note, help a neighbor, surprise someone with a smile. It all counts.
Let's prove that kindness is contagious. Share your acts with us by using hashtag 100KindActs.
Because a little kindness goes a long way.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Chris Ranji for Siteman Cancer Center. And you have to know that you are somebody's favorite person. And your health matters not just to you, but it matters to people who care about you. Getting screened early for any cancer, whether it's colon or breast cancer, prostate cancer, or lung cancer, it is important to do that. Siteman has set up a website called getscreenednow.com. And when you go to it, it's going to help you find a location nearer you. If you live a little farther out from St. Louis and don't want to make the trip into the city, you can get screened closer to home. GetScreenedNow.com, because for me, I'm over 45. It's time for that colonoscopy. Third leading cause of cancer-related deaths in both men and women. And GetScreenedNow.com will help you find a location that is good for you. Doing it early, really, really important. GetScreenedNow.com.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After proving the doctors wrong following my accident, I got back to baseball, started kicking field goals, and finally got paid as a pro kicker and ultimately became a leader in the marketing world. That's why I trust Renner Garage Door, exceeding expectations for over 65 years. They service, sell, and install top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster. Get your free quote today. Check them out at RennerDoorSTL.com. Renner, forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
Ranj, I don't know if you saw this, but in the news a while back, there was a St. Louis house in Webster Groves that had bats. And one of the bats had rabies.
Oh.
And it was the first case of rabies in a bat in Missouri in 2025. Well, I have a story that we'll talk about in the 11 o'clock hour about the people who lived in that house had to go get rabies shots because there were bats, and you can get bitten by a bat and not know it because their teeth are so microscopically small. And they had to get rabies shots, and the insane insurance disaster that followed, that they're still in the middle of.
Oh, I can't wait to hear that. Do you still get the shots in the stomach? Is that how they do it?
I don't know if it's the stomach, but it probably, because they did say it was they're getting series of shots, but out of pocket, Ranj, tens of thousands of dollars.
For the rabies?
For the rabies. So anyway,
Okay.
in 11 o'clock hour, I will detail that.
Is this going to hurt? Yes, very much.
What is that
Seinfeld.
from? Oh.
Where Elaine thought she got rabies. I forgot.
Oh.
She got bit by a dog. And the doctor is giving her a shot. Is this going to hurt? Yes, very much. All right. When we come back, Shamim Clark Hubbard, alderwoman for Ward 10 here in Chicago, is going to talk to us. What? What did I just say Chicago for?
Oh,
St. Louis?
My gosh.
St. Louis, alderwoman. We have a new alderwoman here in St. Louis in the Soulard area, taking the spot of Kara Spencer. She's going to talk to us about her. Also, Covenant House, Missouri, which was our charity of the week last week. We will talk to Shamim Clark Hubbard, friend of the show, next on KMOX.
We started Neovitin because we wanted to create a multivitamin for ourselves. That's why we focus on quality ingredients and formulas with our multivitamins. Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins are formulated with over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our 4-ingredient physician-formulated proprietary blend for the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins a try for yourself. Find them at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
We can get more sleep, we can get more sun, and we can get more exercise, but the one thing we can't get more of is time. It's time to eliminate the one phrase that could be holding you back from reaching your retirement goals. I'll take care of it tomorrow. It's time to pick up the phone and make the call to Gary Goldberg and the team at Financial and Tax Strategies, 314-991-9005, or online at checkwithgary.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Centaurus Financial, Inc., an FFC registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Gary Goldberg, NPN number 918615.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
Winner of 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards, including Overall Excellence. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Quiver River Electric Cooperative reminds you to always assume that a downline is energized and dangerous. Avoid going near it or anything in contact with the power line. Never drive over a down line or through water touching the line. Notify the local authorities immediately if you see a down line. To learn more, call us at 1-800-392-3709 or visit safeelectricity.org. A safety message from Quiver River Electric Cooperative.
1 in 4 people surveyed by Bankrate.com say they're literally losing sleep because of worries that they may have not saved enough to retire. If you're ready to get serious about planning for your financial future, you could start by listening to the All Financial Hour with host Steve All of the All Financial Group.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different. If you want assistance, we can also help you at that point.
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX.
It is 10 o'clock, and right now in downtown St. Louis, we do have some sunshine and some clouds and 76 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey. Officials figure it will be many more days, if not weeks, for crews to sort through all the debris caused by the massive flash flooding in Texas Hill Country. Many crews have come out from out of state, including those with specialty equipment and certain skills. Razor Dobbs is with the Center Point, Texas Volunteer Fire Company.
We've been finding remains since day one, and it continues now. And you know, the weather is humid, but we've really been blessed that it's been in the 80s. Usually right now it'd be in the high 90s.
A returnee from the first Trump administration, Neil Jacobs, is up for a confirmation hearing in the Senate to lead the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA. The hearing comes as some question whether cuts to the agency, including the National Weather Service, may have played a role in the lack of warnings about the deadly Central Texas floods. CBS News' Nicole Killian on Capitol Hill reports Republicans are likely to put that aside, and Democrats are expected to make the case that personnel cuts overall are dangerous to the entire nation's safety.
Yes, while we do expect this issue of staffing cuts and the future of climate forecasting to come into play in this hearing, a lot of this is just bigger picture in terms of how he would lead the agency.
He can't find anything in Missouri law that allows parents to be cited or punished for the actions of their children, but KMOX legal analyst Brad Young says there is a city code that allows police to cite mom and dad.
And under this city code, if any parent or legal guardian either encourages or causes a child to commit any conduct like we saw with fireworks or possession of a gun, or even failing to take action to prevent this from happening, those parents can be fined up to $500, imprisoned for 90 days or less, or both.
St. Louis police arrested dozens of teens over the 4th of July and said they'd cite their parents as well. Another I-55, I-70 closure coming.
More road work in Illinois on 5570 begins this Friday night at 9 p.m. They're going to close the westbound lanes this time of 5570 between 159 and 157 for repair work. The detour will be opposite direction of last time's eastbound closure. You'll take 270 westbound to 255 southbound to get around the work in progress, which is scheduled to last again for 2.5 weeks, 17 days. Roger Brand, KMOX News.
Chipmaker NVIDIA becomes the first public company to top $4 trillion in value after a 2-year investor frenzy. Their shares rose 2.5% or $3.97 in early trading today. For the forecast today and tomorrow, pretty much the same, partly sunny, warm and humid. We could see a thunderstorm in spots this afternoon. Today's high 89, tomorrow 91. And right now it's 76 degrees downtown. At 10:03, I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
This report is sponsored by Metro Transit.
We are Metro Transit. We don't just help ourselves and our neighbors get where we need to be. We help our whole region get where we want to be. Get on board at rideonmetro.org.
Chris Ranji, Amy Marks Kors. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores with you on a Wednesday. And we mentioned earlier, several things. Covenant House, our charity of the week last week, and the great work they do with at-risk youth in St. Louis. We also mentioned our lemonade stand challenge. And someone who stepped up in both of those areas is Alderwoman Shamim Clark Hubbard of the 10th Ward in St. Louis, who is very familiar with the Covenant House, did one of their sleep outs, also stopped by a lemonade stand. And first, Alderwoman, thank you for joining us in Studio B.
Thank you for having me.
And second, I asked you this when you walked in right off the air, and I do want to start with, I know in Ward 10, your ward hit very hard by the tornado. How much of your time right now is still focused on tornado efforts?
Yes. Again, thank you all for having me. You know I love being here. I would say it's still 90 to 95%. You know, if you lay a map of the path of the tornado on top of a map of the 10th Ward, 10th Ward has 8 neighborhoods, and all 8 neighborhoods got hit by this tornado. So that's from Clayton Road and Skinker for me, and down to Martin Luther King and Taylor. The disparity, being able to meet people's needs, being able to answer the call. I still get calls. I'm still getting calls that run the gamut, from home repair to debris pickup to connect me with FEMA to I'm still trying to get my power back on. Different calls I get every day, all day. And I'm just grateful to be in position to be able to answer them and connect the dots for them.
How has the support been outside of the work you're doing in terms of federal help, city, state, whatever it's been? Because we know initially it seemed to be good. I mean, we were hearing from the governor and from Josh Hawley, who was on site, and it's been some time since it happened, and a lot of that tends to wane. So where is it now?
So I'll say it's probably so many different perspectives on that. For some people, it's never going to be enough. You know, for the people that wake up with this every day and have to navigate this every day, it will feel like it's never enough. But again, connecting those dots and meeting those immediate needs, day-to-day quality of life, setting them up for the needs that they need and the resources they can get to move forward, I think is where there has been a great, continues to be rather a great response. I can't say personally that there's been anybody that's called me that I haven't been able to. If I can't answer the question, I connect them directly to somebody who does and who wants to and who's willing to, which makes the difference. There's still day-to-day quality and needs, organizations, grassroots, community people that are on the ground, helping those people with that. FEMA is still here, SBA is still here. So it's just, again, the city mayor Spencer has now announced and continues to roll out programming and products that can help relieve people as they move forward. So it's just, again, I know for some people it's not enough, but I know that not doing it is worse. Not helping is worse. Saying, okay, it's not enough and we're not going to do anything would be detrimental. So again, just continuing to move and push people forward to give them what they need has been the game changer for everyone.
So I have a couple of friends who are in the Central West End whose homes were, if not destroyed, just made unlivable. But they do have insurance and they do have resources.
Yeah.
So here are people that have the resources, and they're being told that they're going to be out of their house for at least a year.
Mhm.
So one of them had to rent a house in another, part of town.
Mhm.
So my question is, if that's people with resources who
Yeah.
are out of their homes for a year, what about people who may not have had insurance, who don't have resources? Where are they living? Where are they going? And how are they going to be able to stay out of their homes or until either their homes are repaired or knocked down and built again, because some of them can't be repaired?
Yeah. Amy, that's something, again, that keeps me up at night. That's something that I deal with every day. There's a real disparity in the way that I see my constituents in the 10th Ward alone being able to respond, the position they're able to respond from. And so, again, while, we have some people with insurance that have housed them and they're getting ready and they're getting their homes rebuilt, I have people that are still standing outside their homes like it's May 16th. They really don't know which way they're going to turn and go. And even the more you connect with them with that, the reality is, if you were already in a little behind prior to May 16th, whatever you get now and in the future, it may not bring you even up to neutral ground,
Right.
let alone ahead. So again, it's case by case on this. I can't say that enough. And I don't want anybody to feel like there's no help for them. There is help. Unfortunately, there's going to be just some very hard conversations. And unfortunately, what I've seen in studying other tornado hit areas, because I look to see, like, what can we do? There's a level of displacement that Lord knows St. Louis doesn't need. But when you think about the reality of these 3-story, 3-course brick homes that will have to be some heartbreakingly torn down, no amount of money FEMA can offer, because I'm not making that up. Their cap is $40,000. They can't rebuild a 3-story, 3-course brick home. So things like that are just real conversations that we have to have case by case with people. And I want everyone to know that nobody has to do this alone. There's help out here.
So what can the community do? Because a lot of people did pitch in right away, and for this first several weeks after, I don't know if I'm assuming the pace has not kept up the way it was initially, which is usually what happens in a disaster. Time goes by and, things fall off. So what do we need? What do they need? And how does the community help provide it? If anybody's listening and wants to do something.
Well, I ain't too proud to beg. I'll say there's 2 organizations on the ground right now today as we speak that are still doing the day-to-day, meeting day-to-day quality of life, from clothing to food to health to mental health to wellness. And that's Dr. Punch, the Brick, and they have formed what they call the Oasis in Fountain Park. So if you can look up 314 Oasis or Dr. Punch and the Brick, they are, again, daily on the ground meeting immediate needs in Fountain Park. That's one of the actual Fountain Park location. And then Dr. Marty Casey and the Ungun Foundation, St. Paul AME Church, is at 1260 Hamilton Avenue. They have a Heal STL. They have a free store. And so it has everything you need that you can go in there, in addition to meeting your needs with maybe your application submittal for FEMA, SBA, a Red Cross, anything that you may need, again, over there. These are 2 organizations that I know, to your point, everybody kicks in, everybody goes and makes their social media posts, everybody does that the first, but that absolutely dies off. That's the nature of it, And so being able to meet people's needs, still that, and then pour into the funds. There are funds, and I don't want to speak on any of them specifically without knowing the contact information, but I know St. Louis Foundation has a fund that they're still raising money in. Urban League has a fund that they're raising money in, and then they'll be programming their money out, I'm sure, into the community, directly into the community. And also the Northside Resilience Fund, which right now, if you had a red sticker on your home, you can apply for an immediate $3,000 cash stipend. That you can get directly deposited into you, that there's no barriers on it. You can use it for whatever you need it for, which you all know from my GBI conversations how I feel about that, and the integrity of empowering people with being able to fund and help whatever meet their needs is. That's something that's going on now that I think that you can pour into, and that's through Invest STL.
Well, I know we could talk so much more about this,
Yeah.
but we also want to have you share about your experience with Covenant House, Missouri, which is an incredible organization that welcomes youth who run away, young people who've been trafficked, high risk, at risk, experiencing homelessness, and the work that they do. You did one of the sleep outs. Can you describe for our listeners exactly what that is and what that was like?
Yeah. It was one of the most humbling experiences I've ever had in my life. I remember the day like it was yesterday because it was cold. It was raining. And we literally slept in boxes, cardboard boxes, outside of the Covenant House, so off of Kings Highway in Maffitt. And I was invited to do it, not by them, but also by my former colleague, Alderman Rhodey, who I have a lot of admiration for. I still call him and bug him today about things. And so I tease him that this is our night that we slept together, even though we didn't sleep together. But I teased him on the floor the next day, and I teased him when I stayed. I'm like, you remember that time we slept together? Well, actually, Alderman Rhodey didn't spend the night, and he cleared that up too. But again, if not for Alderman Rhodey, I would not have been there.
Just like him to just leave.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. I would not. He was there.
Yeah.
He was there. But he didn't spend the entire night like I did. And again, but he was an advocate then, and I'm sure I wouldn't guess for a second that anything's changed. He was such a big advocate then. I'm sure he's a big advocate now. The Covenant House is the only space created for that in the region for that matter. You know, so and the work that they do is immeasurable. As a mother of 5, now a grandmother, I think about what if it was my child, you know, that was homeless, and to hear the stories and the testimonies, the youth and the people that they've been helped, and then you know it's good because they come back and help others. The people that have gone through, they come back and help others. That right there is a testimony alone, which I heard in some of the speakers that you all had. So again, hearing the story, it just reminded me of that. I mean, up until the next morning when I turned the key in my home, it was just, I get chills thinking about it now, because for me, that was one night. For some children, that's their reality. For some of the youth, that's their reality.
And it just, we talked to last week.
Yeah.
And he just showed up. It was like 3 a.m. And he said, somebody answered the phone. And then that woman was there all night, and she said, I'll be here when you wake up.
Made
and he slept.
Made him
a
food. Meal. Yep.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, it was like an immediate response. And you wouldn't think that would happen. He was waiting for a voice message.
Yeah.
He called, thought, I'm going to get a voicemail. I'll leave a voicemail. Because he had nowhere to go at 3 a.m, which is just unbelievable.
And it gave him not just food and shelter, but love, people who cared about him.
Yeah.
And then life guidance with education, with a career. He's a business owner now.
Yeah.
And he's on the board at Covenant House. And he was saying, you know, there's only so many beds. And at one point when he had been there for a while, one youth had to be turned away because they were all out of beds. And so he volunteered. He got up and left, slept in his car that night, and then was able to find an apartment. And because he knew how it changed the course of his life.
Yeah. These are stories. Again, that's why I just love being here, and I love what you all the platform you all create here. But those are the stories that people need to hear, because sometimes for a person, unless it's their story, they just don't get it. You know, they don't have they can't grasp it. But when you hear real life lived experiences and testimonies, and just what you said, Chris, about him saying, just the lady saying, I'll be here in the morning.
Yeah.
For some people, I mean, that alone, that assurance, knowing that when you wake up, somebody's going to be there for you. So many people lay down and nobody's there for them then, and they don't have hope of anybody there in the morning. So even with him bringing up stuff like that, you know the difference, and you know the difference that Covenant House makes. I've been a supporter of Covenant House prior to being in position. That changed completely, just escalated my support for them, and I want to see them succeed and grow even more.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, we wanted to move on to the new alderwoman who has replaced Kara Spencer. What should we know about her?
Every time I've seen her out in community, she's shown up and presented to be kindred. Just want to be there for community, help community, uplift community. I'm not familiar with the eighth ward politics. I'm not familiar with her. I think this is her first as an elected official. I think this is her first tenure, but I don't see I don't have anything in me that has any pause about how she's going to show up and serve for those 8th Ward residents. And then, for me, I try my best, even on days like yesterday, to work with all of my colleagues, to build their relationships, to be able to work with my colleagues. Because if I'm down there being adversarial to everyone, what am I going to be able to get done for the constituents, first and foremost, of the 10th Ward, let alone for the city of St. Louis? So for me, I welcome Alderwoman Cox. Now I don't want to mispronounce her name, but I welcome her to the board. She'll be there Friday, right? She'll be sworn in. That's an exciting time to get started. That 8th Ward is an amazing ward, a cusp of so much has already happened and is going to happen down there. So I'm excited. I encourage her, and I'm going to be there to help her however I can.
Well,
Awesome.
Alderwoman Shamim Clark Hubbard, it's always good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Oh, yeah, you can.
I'm so sorry, you all, because I know I was late, but there was a meeting that was held to talk about the Union Lindell Bridge. I'm sure you have listeners that think about that Union Lindell Bridge and the projected upgrades they're going to do to it. So there is a meeting today from 4 to 7. It's an open house at the Forest Park Visitor Center. This is coming from BPS and a lot of the transportation mobility planning that's going on in the city. But that Union Lindell Bridge is important. They had a meeting that had low turnout. Why? Because of the tornado.
Yeah.
I told them that many of my constituents that live adjacent to that probably were not in the mind space mentally or to deal with that. But so that this meeting today is from 4 to 7 at the Forest Park Visitor Center to come and see the proposed upgrades to the Union Lindell Bridge.
Okay.
Got it.
Thank you for letting me get that out.
No, yeah, of course. We appreciate you coming in as always. Thank you.
Thank you.
That is Alderwoman Shamim Clark Hubbard with us here, Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius or two half geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify. Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
It's July. How much time have you spent in your outdoor space? If you had Chesterfield Fence and Deck come out and just trick out your entire yard, well, you could be spending a lot of time out there, maybe even year round. This is Debbie Monterey, and Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your trusted provider of everything you need in your outdoor space, from fences, decks, patios, pergolas, sunrooms, screen rooms, you name it, they can do it. Whether you're just looking for a simple fence or a gate, or you are looking for a brand new patio with a sunroom and a patio and a built-in fireplace and a pizza oven, I mean, you can dream with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. And they do free in-home estimates and free project design, or stop by their beautiful showroom in the Chesterfield Valley if you're looking to get some new ideas. And mention me, Debbie Monterey. They'll offer you 48 months interest-free financing. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. ChesterfieldFence.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
It's the Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX, sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium. Explore the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station.
Well, I think this is a terrible idea, Ranch.
Okay. All right.
Waymo.
What, this show?
Well, shh. We're not trying to tell. We don't want people to know.
No, man, I'm trying to get paid.
I think half the people don't know we work here. We've talked about this at 9 the News, at 1 the Fun.
Adam Wainwright didn't know.
I know, that poor guy didn't. You told him to tell this show. He doesn't know what show this is.
Yeah.
At any rate, Waymo, the driverless ride service, it's now offering teen accounts. Now teens ages 14 to 17 can get their own Waymo accounts because Waymo wants to increase ridership among a broader expansion. They will have specially trained rider support agents for rides that are hailed by teens as young as 14. They can, quote, loop in the parents if needed. Okay, there's no way I'm putting my 14-year-old in a driverless car.
I don't want to get in a driverless car myself.
To be honest, I probably wouldn't want to put my 14-year-old in a car with a driver if I didn't know. Like, I still think I've Ubered plenty of times, but 14's pretty young.
Well, let me ask you this. Would you rather put your kid, your 14-year-old, in a driverless car or with a stranger?
You mean a stranger as an Uber?
Yeah.
I know.
That's a tough call.
Because
it's tougher than you think.
I think like 99% of Uber drivers, right, are going to be totally fine. I've taken Uber. There have been some interesting characters, for sure.
Yeah.
Like in Nashville, the guy that picked us up in the middle of the woods at midnight with blacked out windows and sunglasses. He was on something and he drove fast, but we got home.
I would rather have that guy than most of the Ubers I get in, which are speed limit people. I don't know how I managed to get every single rideshare driver that obeys the speed limit. I don't know how, but it's a talent I have.
And like I said, though, that conversation is totally different when you're talking about adults. But 14 is pretty young.
Well, Jen, we've talked about this a lot. I'm generally uncomfortable with driverless cars as it is. And I don't think this is, I'm an old guy and I don't really know I don't like technology. It's not like that. I love technology. Just there is something about a driverless vehicle that does not sit well with me. Maybe there will be a day, and I imagine, I guess that could come in the next decade or two, where we can totally trust them. And I know some drivers are untrustworthy, but there is something particularly off-putting about getting in a car that you can't deliver directions to somebody and say, don't go this way. Or, it's confused by a painted line on the street and doesn't know where to go, or it drifts into traffic. I don't want anything to do with that right now.
I get it. Like the statistics. I know there are statistics people out there say, well, the human drivers crash way more. And the statistics show that human error far exceeds the driverless cars. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're just going on vibes here,
Yeah,
I don't like the driverless car. Just as a heads up, the teen accounts on Waymo are initially only being offered in Metro Phoenix area, and then it will expand to California and so forth from there. I don't see it catching on. I also don't see it being a huge want. I don't know that parents want that. I get that parents are tired maybe of driving their kids places, but I don't know.
I could see within years, 10 years, 15 or 20, people becoming way more comfortable with the idea.
Is that why they call it Waymo? Because you'll get Waymo comfortable with it over
When we
time?
come back,
You're the one that said it. You said people are going to be Waymo comfortable with it.
Cardinals won a game last night.
That's why they call it Waymo. I never even thought about it.
You will be way more comfortable with this.
and later.
I really do hate you.
Okay. Scuba Hoodie Jr.
You're welcome for that one.
Yeah.
Voice of the Cardinals, John Rooney, joins us next after our Redbirds winner last night. We'll talk to John in a moment.
This isn't your typical lunchtime baseball chatter. This is the Gas House Gang.
I'll say this. Here's my perspective.
Tom Ackerman, Chris Ronchi, Mike Claiborne, and Bernie Miklasz bring smart, informed Cards talk. And every Tuesday,
we welcome in the manager of the Cardinals, Oliver Marmol.
You want real Cardinals conversation? You're in the right place. The Gas House Gang, weekdays at noon on 104.1 FM KMOX, the voice of baseball.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley telling you about i3 Broadband. You've heard me talk about them. They provide the internet in my home. I love them so much. The reliability is great. Let's talk about price for a moment, though. They've got an introductory rate at $19.99 a month for one of their service options. No bundle ever required. You're going to save $10 a month over the cable company. They've got great pricing on all of their different packages, going up to 8 gigs upload and download speed, always mirrored. See if they're available in your neighborhood. Put your address in at i3broadband.com.
Summer is here. Time to enjoy baseball, barbecues, and the shade of your trees. When it comes to tree care, call the certified arborist at Gamma Tree Experts. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma. Protect your valuable trees from storm damage or devastating insects such as the emerald ash borer. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. For pruning, spraying, fertilization, or removals, call Gamma Tree Experts today at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Speeding while driving gives you less time to react. Another car could turn out in front of you. A pedestrian could be walking their dog. Follow the speed limit to keep them safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Currently it's 76 degrees downtown. Feels like 92. The high today, 91. Sunshine with maybe a few clouds. Tonight, partly cloudy. A low of 68.
This report is brought to you by the Beach Boys at Chesterfield Amphitheater, September 21st. America's favorite band, the Beach Boys, are coming to Chesterfield Amphitheater. One night only, September 21st. Experience decades of iconic hits live in concert. Don't miss your chance to see the Beach Boys. Tickets on sale Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey guys, Dave and Rach here for our good friends at Smart Mouth. So it is unique by the very definition of the word. It's the only mouth rinse out there with 2 chemicals that combine to prevent bad breath for 24 hours a day with just 2 rinses a day.
Never have bad breath again. You can find Smart Mouth locally at Schnucks and Deerbergs or at Walgreens, Walmart, and Amazon. Visit smartmouth.com to snag a special discount on your next Smart Mouth purchase. That's smartmouth.com/Glover.
At California Psychics, we know that sometimes you can wake up thinking,
I don't know if I'm in the right career, or the right relationship.
but whatever your life dilemma, at California Psychics, we'll give you the guidance you need to feel certain about your life choices. And because we only connect you with the very best, we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
KMOX and 97.1 FM Talk are proud to support the first ever Brendan Donovan Charity Clay Shoot, happening Thursday, August 7th at Stratfelden Farms Club in Weldon Spring. Join Cardinal standout Brendan Donovan, teammates, and local celebrities for a day of clay shooting and community, all to benefit Team Red, White, and Blue and their mission to support veterans' health and wellness. Sponsorships and shooter spots are going fast. Visit teamrwd.org/Donovan now to sign up. Show your support and make a difference for those who have served.
Cards manager Ollie Marble joins the Gas House Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Now, the John Rooney Conversation on KMOX. Sponsored by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you're a Missourian, we're for you.
The runners lead. The 2-2 pitch. A ground ball to the shortstop. Mason Wynn flips to second. They get the out at second base on Millis. That's a Redbird winner. 6-4 on the force play. Light it up in downtown St. Louis. The Cardinals beat the Nationals in game 1 of the 3-game series, 4-2.
After a lengthy delay, something like 140 minutes worth of rain delay, they did not start on time last night. Got the ball game going at 9 o'clock. You know, all's good, though, because they won the game against the Washington Nationals tonight. They'll get back at it. We got the 5:50 pregame show and a 6:45 first pitch right here on 104.1 FM KMOX, which, by the way, is going to remain the home of Cardinals baseball for the foreseeable future, multi-year extension that we announced this week. So the Cardinals and KMOX continue to be great partners, and we go to the guest line today. We talked to John Rooney, who is the voice of the Cardinals on KMOX, the flagship station. John, how's it going?
Well, it's going fine. Up and at 'em after a long day's journey in tonight, the late show last night, but it was well worth the wait.
Yeah, we were, we'll get to that in a moment, but we were just, I just mentioned that the extension has happened, that Cardinals baseball is going to stay here on KMOX for the next few years at least, and maybe beyond that. And I know, John, KMOX has been a big part of Cardinals baseball for a very long time, and you knew that before you even took that job.
Well, I was with KMOX back in 1980, and again in 1984. I was there a couple of different times before I started doing a lot of minor league baseball and working my way toward the majors. And I remember being at the meeting with Mr. Hyland where he handed out these Sony clock radios with a little plaque on top that said the 60th anniversary of KMOX radio. And now we're going to the 100th anniversary coming up. So I'm damned old.
Well, you haven't been here for all 100.
You've been there the whole time.
Yeah, come on, John. It's not like you were here in 1925.
I like the Sony clock radio though.
Please tell me you still have that.
Yeah, I still have that.
Yeah.
I have it somewhere. It's in a crate somewhere. No, I still have that, and it still works.
You're like, because you love all things tech, right, John?
Well, most things tech, not everything.
So do you? I imagine then you have a little collection starting with the clock radio on forward.
Well, I don't have a crystal set or anything like that. Going back to sitting in the living room and trying to get the signal in on that. I don't remember those days, but we had a Philco radio in the house and outside of Kansas City, but it couldn't bring in KMOX, so we had to go out in the car and listen. And then when it came up, full at sunset and started reaching 36, 38 states, then it came in nice and clear in the house. But that was my first experience with KMOX, listening to the Cardinal games back in '64 with that great run. And I was talking about that team today. That was the all broadcast team. You had Bill White, first base, voice of the Yankees, and you had Dick Groat, who did Pittsburgh basketball, University of Pittsburgh. And Dick Groat was an All-American and the leading scorer in the country when he played at Duke before he got into pro baseball. And you had Tim McCarver, Bob Uecker, broadcasters, Mike Shannon, broadcaster. We also had Bob Gibson, who did a great deal of broadcasting. Lou Brock as well. That was kind of the all broadcaster team.
That's incredible.
Yeah, when you put it that way, I hadn't thought of it that way, but the stories too, because so much we were talking about the different skill sets needed for broadcasting the various sports, and baseball, you have to be such a great storyteller to weave together the game and life. We were listening to old Vin Scully clips. It really is an art form.
And they had more time without the pitch clock to really get into stories, even though if you don't start a story with 2 outs, you can still get it in, even with the pitch timer. There are enough foul balls and things like that, we've had several 10-pitch at bats lately from both teams. So it's time to get a story or two in. I got my Harry Root Beer story in the other night, even though I had to continue it the next inning, and I started that with 1 out.
Wait, I did it with a Harry Root Beer?
Harry Carey. He
not a Harry Root Beer. Yeah.
Sorry, I was like, what's a Harry Root Beer?
Okay, are we done?
No.
I would.
Not by a long shot, John.
I know. I'm sorry.
You want to give Amy the Cliff's Notes version of this story?
Anyway, Joe Grube is a stage manager for TV, home TV at the South Side and the North Side. And he was working with Harry in the booth there on GN one night. And Harry looked at him. It was a real hot night. And he goes, "Joe, go give me a root beer, will you?" So he goes back in the press room. They don't have root beer. So he comes back, "Harry, there's no root beer." So I have to leave out several expletives. But Joe, there has to be a root beer somewhere. Go get me a root beer, will you? Come on. Go get a root beer. And so he goes back and pours him a Diet Coke. He brings it in. Harry takes a sip of it. "Oh, that's good root beer."
That's awesome. Oh man, I know Joe Grube. I love that he did that. He's probably like, I can't entertain this guy here.
He named one of his cats after me.
Oh, that's so good.
So we started off by talking about last night's game and the long rain delay, which, nobody really likes to sit through a rain delay. But I'm assuming that with this team having played 6 doubleheaders already, they really didn't want to play another one today or tomorrow.
Well, they just kind of figured, what's new? We have a delay, live with it and deal with it. And that's what they've been doing. So now they're making the best out of it that they can. And they did last night. And they have Sonny go 5 last night. And I'm sure he had some interruptions to his routine, not knowing exactly when we were going to start. He was supposed to throw the first pitch around 6:45 and threw it around 9:02. It was good that he was able to go 5. They got him the runs necessary to win and picked up his 9th win of the year. And the bullpen did a really good job falling in line, coming on with Steven Matz working a scoreless inning and then giving way all the way to the end to Ryan Helsley. The guys did a great job last night, and that was a team win against Washington. And the Cardinals are going to get Washington's best effort, especially after Dave Martinez was removed as manager.
Yeah, the general manager was let go, or the president of baseball operations. Their manager was let go. So that's an organization that is right now in some transition. All right, John Rooney, 5:50 pregame show tonight, 6:45 first pitch. We'll do it again. Game 2 of 3 against the Nats at Busch Stadium. We'll be listening in.
And to celebrate the contract extension between Odyssey, KMOX, and the Cardinals, I'm going to have a Harry Root Beer when I get to the park.
Enjoy that Diet Coke. Thank you, John.
All right, bye.
That is John Rooney. You'll hear him, Rick Horton, Mike Claiborne on the broadcast. And yes, once again, in case you just tuned in, KMOX and the Cardinals continue their partnership, a multi-year extension announced this week. So if you're thinking 2026, where are the Cardinals games going to be? Right here, big boy. Right here on KMOX. Where else would they go? Best place for it to be.
It's the only place.
It kind of is.
It really is. And I don't mean like they have no other options. I mean, it's the only
Best
place that's right. Yeah, like you'd be insane not to pair KMOX and the Cardinals together.
You've been able to listen to Cardinals baseball on the Odyssey app for several years now, and it sounds really good on the Odyssey app. But now you have, it's super easy to just put on FM, 104.1 FM. The sports on FM sounds awesome. It really does. And if you're farther out, you don't want to deal with the Odyssey app, you can't pick up the FM signal, still get 1120. 1120 still there. It's old trusty.
Do you know a lot about radio, as in radio waves?
Not a lot.
Okay. I was listening to a British podcast, and I don't know if they were just calling it something different, but they kept referencing long wave radio.
Okay. I felt
really stupid. I'm like, is that AM radio? But they kept talking about long wave radio. And here's the conversation they were having on this British podcast, that they're getting rid of long wave radio in the UK. And they think that that's a poor idea because when the grid goes down, the only thing left is long wave radio. And the way they were talking about it is how we talk about AM radio, which is amplified modulation. I don't know if that's the same as long wave radio, but it was really interesting, Ranj, because obviously we've got our 104.1 FM, but we have not dropped the AM. Of course we're not. We're always keeping that. And we still have the AM. As we joked, as our boss joked, the AM had a 100-year head start on our FM signal. So we've got the AM radio, we've got the FM radio, we've got the Odyssey app, but when it all hits the fan, the cockroaches will be listening to AM radio.
Speak of that. Think about being 1120 right now. Can you imagine being 100 and then getting a baby brother?
I know.
That would I'm too old for a baby brother at 100.
Well, yes, but you have a lot of wisdom.
You do have a lot of wisdom that you can impart on the FM.
Yeah.
But I think, again, the move to the FM signal is awesome.
Yeah.
And I think it's exciting that we got to be part of it. You know, we got to be part of what was a pretty significant step in the history of this station. So
will the Cardinals, and so have the Cardinals, because they're going to stay with us, which is so exciting.
Yep, a multi-year extension, Cardinals and KMOX. It is a perfect marriage, and that will continue for the foreseeable future. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji, man, do we love you. We hope you stick around with us until 12 o'clock. Then it is Gas House Gang with Tom Ackerman and me. We will be joined on that show as we talk a lot of Cardinals baseball. We'll be joined by Bob Carpenter at 12:30.
Love Bob Carpenter.
Bob Carpenter is retiring.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's
one of my favorites.
Yeah, he is retiring. So it is his last visit to Busch Stadium as a broadcaster for the Nationals. And a lot of us grew up listening to Bob Carpenter on television. So really excited to have him on at 12:30 today. It is the Chris and Amy Show now on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're here for all of life's wins. Like when you get a new car, or new boat, or new driver, or when your son moves out, but your mom moves in, or you find out you're expecting again, or when one rental property turns into 2, then 20, or you realize they're all in Tornado Alley. Life is full of life events, so call your Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance agent or visit mofbinsurance.com to find an agent near you, and we'll make sure you have the right coverage for each of life's wins.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for the people of Missouri, in good times and in bad. We're for Missouri families and Missouri communities. We're for giving back to those communities and lifting people up. And when Missouri weather rips through our state, we're for helping put back the pieces. We're for brighter days and new tomorrows. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and if you live in Missouri, we're for you.
Experience the magic of the Fabulous Foxes 2025-2026 Broadway season, which includes the return of St. Louis favorite, The Phantom of the Opera, and the spellbinding spectacular Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And right now, KMOX has your chance to win a pair of season tickets for the 2025-2026 season. Prize package includes a pair of tickets for all 8 shows in the subscription package. Register now online at KMOX.com/contests for your chance to win.
When we started Neoviten back in 2009, we wanted to create a multivitamin that we would take ourselves. That's why we use quality ingredients in our Neoviten Original Formula multivitamin. With over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our physician-formulated proprietary blend, you can be sure you are getting the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neovitin Original Formula Multivitamin a try for yourself. Find it at your local Schnucks, Deerbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Maureen talks about her experience using 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
I had for years been dreaming how I wanted my kitchen down to every detail. When 3-Day Kitchen and Bath came, they were thrilled to death that I knew exactly what I wanted. They came back with a drawing and it was perfect. It was exactly what I wanted. They came in, they did their thing, and it turned out as perfect as I imagined it. The quality of it is beautiful. It's amazing. It is beautiful. They were efficient. They were trustworthy. The recommendations were unquestionable. And they were going to do exactly what I wanted. I had a lovely experience.
Start your remodel today by visiting 3daykitchen.com.
At 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Hi, Stacy with Fairwinds River's Edge Senior Living in St. Charles. Are you a senior seeking a fun retirement? Do you want less work and more play? Do you want to enjoy great food that you don't have to cook? Then I know. Stop what you're doing right now and call Fairwinds. Set up a time to visit and have a meal. Meet some of our awesome residents. Check us out online at fairwindsriversedge.com. We hope to talk with you soon.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
We will be giving away tickets to see the Beach Boys, who are performing September 21st at Chesterfield Amphitheater. You have to be listening for your chance to win. However, we're not going to make you wait too long to win something, because Collective Soul and Live will be this month, July 17th,
or live
at Hollywood.
We don't know.
We do know. It's alive. Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, Collective Soul and Live. And right now, we have a pair of tickets.
Yes.
If you call the contest line and are caller number 7, is that what you said? 7?
Yep.
314-955-1120. 314-955-1120. Caller 7 gets to see Collective Soul and Live.
Good.
Both together.
Good luck. Hey, Ranj, great news. I know how you're always like really creepy hanging out at Chuck E. Cheese. You can't do that. You can't hang out at Chuck E. Cheese. There's a Chuck
I just go there for the beer.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, Chuck E. Cheese is expanding, which is insane because I didn't know Chuck E. Cheese.
I thought they'd already hit their
I did too.
Their zenith.
So did I. Well, Chuck E. Cheese is creating arcades for adults. Adults Chuck E. Cheese, and they are called Chuck's Arcade.
I love it.
It's a new arcade chain from the folks behind Chuck E. Cheese, looking to be a destination for older gamers and, quote, lifelong Chuck E. Cheese fans.
So describe older gamers. What's the age range?
Well,
people who grew up on like actual arcades.
I think it's us, because it is a place to play Mrs. Pac-Man or Mortal Kombat in a mall-based setting. So here's the thing. They're created for adults. They're described as a natural evolution of the Chuck E. Cheese brand. Of course, Chuck E. Cheese, full name Charles Entertainment Cheese. That's the founder, Charles Entertainment Cheese. So they've got the the CEO of Chuck E. Cheese said that Chuck E. Cheese has spent decades mastering the arcade experience. It's in our DNA. Okay, that sounds great. So there is a Chuck's Arcade coming to Kansas City. It's the only one in Missouri. It says one location in Kansas City, Missouri offers pizza. But that does not appear to be the case at all Chuck's Arcades. When asked about it, an employee at the Chuck's Arcade in Trumbull, Connecticut, said that no two locations are alike.
That's stupid.
Because the one in Connecticut has no food and no drinks available.
Well, what good is that?
It's just an arcade.
Okay, that's stupid. I'm
So
not going
the
then.
Chuck's Arcade press release wants to clarify that no two locations are exactly alike, meaning some locations have pizza, some don't. Can you think of a worse business model than having some of your locations being pizza and some no food or drink options?
Chuck's Arcade, we might have food.
Yeah, but we might not have food or drinks.
Tell you
so
what.
do? You go there for 30 minutes until you're so thirsty or hungry you have to leave?
If, Amy,
Yeah.
and this is a big if the gorilla is there, I will be there.
Ranj, you have totally missed the boat. The gorilla
They got
was
rid of the gorilla
Showbiz
band?
Pizza. The gorilla band was Showbiz Pizza.
It's the same.
No. Charles Entertainment Cheese is a rat.
Yeah.
And it is his band now. The gorilla is gone.
No, the gorilla is not
dead.
gone.
The gorilla is gone. He is retired. He's gone on to greener jungles.
No,
And Charles Entertainment Cheese is a rat.
no.
And he has a band.
I'm not buying into this. So Showbiz Pizza was the same. Okay. So my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, if you're listening.
You're wrong,
Well,
probably.
not you, because you don't know anything. Talking to the listeners. But Showbiz Pizza, it was like I don't know if it was a falling out or a separation or whatever, but the person who was with Chuck E. Cheese left and started Showbiz.
Uh-huh.
So I believe there was a gorilla in both.
No,
There's no gorilla band?
There's no gorilla in the rat band because the gorilla band, the lead singer was a bear. Remember that? In
Nope.
red and yellow striped overalls. His
No.
name was Billy Bob.
I do not.
Well, Billy Bob was the lead singer. He was a bear. The gorilla was also in the band. I think the gorilla played the keyboards, to be honest.
Well, anyway, if they bring the gorilla back to Chuck E. Cheese or Chuck's Arcade, I'll go. Also, if they have that stupid Dragon's Lair game, I don't know who remembers Dragon's Lair.
I don't.
But
think I do.
it was from the 80s, and that thing used to really piss me off.
Why?
Because I
'Cause
didn't
you were
understand
terrible
it.
at
I
it?
didn't understand it. I tried to play it. I
Well,
didn't know what I was
kind of game
doing.
Was it? Because skee ball is the best game, and everybody knows that.
It was like it was an arcade. It was a video game. I didn't know how the buttons worked. I didn't know what anything did. Didn't know how to control the
This
players.
is so sad to think of like little Ranji with his hat and glasses,
I was like 8.
not knowing how to play a simple child's game.
It's like I was just donating quarters for no payoff. I hated it. Dragon's Lair, stupid game. But I hope they have it there because I'll figure it out. I'll master it and go back. I'm kind of looking forward to this place, Chuck's Arcade.
Well, it's in Kansas City.
Well, let's road trip.
314-436-7900. We would love to hear from you on any variety of things. The rain delay. Did you go to the rain delay game? How long do you wait for a rain delay? Do you enjoy Charles Entertainment Cheese? Are you a lifelong Charles Entertainment Cheese fan and would go to Chuck's Arcade? Do you remember Showbiz?
I would go.
I don't think you would.
I'm planning my trip now.
You would go to a Chuck's Arcade without food and drink.
Yes, if the gorilla's there.
Oh
Texter here says, my dad took me to a doubleheader in 1988. Rain delays caused the last game to end at 3 a.m. We
Oh.
stayed the whole time. It was awesome.
That's awesome. Good on Dad. Good on Dad for doing that.
314-436-7900. We still have an hour. We have a whole hour with you and us. Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Check the back seat. Check the back seat.
Gets in your head, right? Good, because every year dozens of children are forgotten in the back seat. Cars get hot fast and can be deadly, so get it in your head. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years, Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO, easy to remember phone number, or go online today at 877-25-RHINO.com.
This isn't your typical lunchtime baseball chatter. This is the Gas House Gang.
I'll say this. Here's my perspective.
Tom Ackerman, Chris Ronchi, Mike Claiborne, and Bernie Miklasz bring smart, informed Cards talk. And every Tuesday,
we welcome in the manager of the Cardinals, Oliver Marmol.
You want real Cardinals conversation? You're in the right place. The Gas House Gang, weekdays at noon on 104.1 FM KMOX, the voice of baseball.
It is 11 o'clock, and we've got partly sunny skies and 79 degrees downtown. I'm Debbie Monterey.
Today we gather here with heavy hearts.
Funeral for longtime St. Louis City firefighter Lee Krause is underway. An American flag draped over his closed casket as 2 firemen in Class A uniforms stand guard on either side. Retired Fire Captain David Scott, serving as chaplain, gave opening remarks.
Dedicated father, a loyal friend, true professional who gave almost 3 decades of his life to serving the people of the city of St. Louis.
Lee Krause suffered a medical emergency and passed away while on duty last week. In Texas, Kerr County officials say the search continues for the missing after fatal flooding last week. Rescue teams continue to sift through the damage, and hope for finding survivors is fading. Here's Kerr County Sheriff Larry Letha.
Officials report there are 161 missing people in Kerr County area. Community members are asked not to conduct debris management of their property until directed by law enforcement. There is also a no burn ban in Kerr County at this time till further notice.
St. Louis police arrested dozens of young people over 4th of July weekend, but do they have the legal right to give parents citations for their kids' actions?
And under state law, I couldn't find any provision that would allow the city to do this. But there's actually a city code that allows the police to do this.
KMOX legal analyst Brad Young says the case of Michigan school shooter Ethan Crumbley, where both of his parents were convicted of involuntary manslaughter, showed it could be done.
The penalties are not as severe, obviously, as what we saw with the situation in Wisconsin, but the concept is the same.
Under the city's code, parents cited for their kids' actions could face up to $500 of fines or be in prison for up to 90 days. A childhood disease once thought to have been practically eliminated in the United States is now at its highest level since 1992. CDC reporting nearly 1,300 confirmed measles cases in over 38 states. Vaccine skepticism has hit a new high, and outbreaks are often concentrated in communities where vaccinating kids is not common. Dr. Celine Gounder is CBS News medical contributor.
A recent KFF poll found that over half of the U.S. Adults in the U.S. have encountered false claims about vaccines. And those who have been influenced by those claims, among those who have been influenced by those claims, about a quarter have delayed or skipped at least some vaccinations for their children.
More people are riding MetroLink. By State Development, which operates Metro, says ridership is up 15% this year compared to last at the 11 stations where turnstiles have been installed. Those turnstiles are part of a $61 million security upgrade that also includes better camera systems.
Sunshine and some clouds, very warm and humid this afternoon, high 89, then mainly clear tonight, low 72. For tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy, hot and humid. There could be a late-day thunderstorm, high 93. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's partly sunny, 79 degrees downtown. At 11:03, I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
The Chris and Amy Show is video streaming now on KMOX's YouTube, X, and Facebook pages. Click and subscribe.
Well, July 11th, which is Friday, is the release of Superman, the new movie, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing it. Since the trailer came out, the second, I guess it was the biggest trailer, came out a month ago, and I'm in. Doesn't mean the movie's going to be good, but I'm totally in. I'm looking forward to this version of Superman. But apparently,
I don't think I've ever seen a Superman movie.
Not even the Christopher Reeve movies.
Mm-mm. But you know what I loved when I was a kid?
Oh, my God.
Lois and Clark. That show with Terry Hatcher.
Oh.
And what's his name?
Was it Dean Cain?
Yes, Dean Cain.
Inferior.
I have seen every episode of Lois and Clark because it was on Channel 11, and so were the Blues games. But we only had those terrestrial stations. Anyway, Channel 11 would watch Lois and Clark. So, I mean, I don't want to say I'm a Superman expert, but I have seen a lot of Lois and Clark.
The Christopher Reeve movies were just great. The first, and he was an awesome Superman.
Yeah.
So you haven't
the
seen
ultimate, like when you picture him, picture Superman,
Yeah.
that's who you picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill's good, but wasn't Christopher Reeve. And I don't know about this one yet. David Cornsweet. I don't know yet.
Cornsweet.
I think it's how you pronounce his name, but he is the new Superman. I got bad news. You haven't seen any Superman movies yet. Well, you're not going to go see this one, Amy, because it is apparently super woke. According to Kellyanne Conway, and this is after James Gunn, St. Louis and James Gunn directed this film, and he did an interview in the Sunday Times, which is from about a week ago. And he said in the piece that Superman is, quote, an immigrant that came from other places and populated the country. But for me, it is mostly a story that says basic human kindness is a value and is something we have lost. So because of that quote,
yeah,
you've had a lot of Fox News people like Jesse Waters and Greg Gutfeld and Kellyanne Conway And even a congressman from Texas weighed in on it. In fact, he tweeted, Superman Snow Whited itself faster than a speeding bullet, which I don't understand that reference.
Snow White had some issues because the girl that played Snow White had some pretty strong political views and views on the conflict between Israel and Hamas and tweeted those out. And I think she was Hispanic, and people are like, well, that's not Snow White. But the thing is, like, she looks exactly like Snow White. She looks like a Disney princess. So I don't know if it was more of her political tweets or the fact that she was Hispanic.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
Because it's just so stupid. And I think it was poorly done anyway. I don't think it did very well. But I mean, I thought she looked exactly like Snow White. You know who else looks like a Disney princess? Lori Hernandez, the gymnast? Because she's got those really big, pretty eyes.
Yeah, I can see
and
that.
every time I see her, I'm like, she should be in a movie. Anyway, but I thought the Snow White looked exactly like Snow White.
Clay Travis, he is also a conservative sports announcer, I guess you want to call him, podcaster. He has Outkick, that's his website. And he said, I'm going to skip seeing Superman now. America is desperate for apolitical entertainment, and Hollywood is unable to deliver it. So
has anybody seen this movie yet?
So this is
it
part of
hasn't come out yet.
This is part of my problem with this whole thing. They take one quote from the director of the movie talking about immigrants, and they have determined that this entire movie is too woke, and therefore they're not going to see it, which fine. They can not go see it. I don't care what they do. It doesn't matter to me. But I'm wondering how influenced by this conversation people are going to have. We know Fox News is very influential in this country. It just flat out is. And when you have a lot of hosts on that network who are making the argument the movie is too woke, and then you have Clay Travis doing the same thing, and this congressman from Texas who's also weighed in on it, how much is it really going to influence the outcome in the box office? Are people going to not go see it now? It's not going to affect me whatsoever. I had a plan to go see it. I'm still going to go see it. Even if I heard that it had conservative undertones, I was going to go see it. It doesn't matter to me. It does not ruin my enjoyment or what I think I will enjoy. And I don't know yet. Maybe it sucks. Maybe the movie is just crap. But I like James Gunn. I think he's a good director. Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy is really good. And I'm imagining that this will be good too. So do you let this affect you?
Well, okay. Here's the thing. You told me this, and I had not heard any of this. I also don't watch Fox News. And it sounds like right now it is the Fox News talking heads that are saying it's woke, because I haven't heard this from anybody. I haven't seen it on Twitter, and I'm pretty online, unfortunately, because of this job. We have to kind of stay up on that. And so 314-436-7900 if you would like to call or text in. But I would say, my response was just, Greg Gutfeld is not a serious person. He's embarrassing. I guess his show is popular, but he's not a serious person. I put him in the same boat as like Whoopi Goldberg on The View, just saying insane things, or anyone on The View, not even just Whoopi Goldberg, just like The View itself. I think of Whoopi Goldberg because she was said some stupid stuff about America and Iran and whatever. But then Jesse Waters is not a serious person. He's one of those guys that 100% is grifting and doesn't even believe what he says, and says things just to get people talking about it, like this. Like when he said, what kind of man goes grocery shopping with his wife? That's just when he said that about Kamala Harris and Doug Emhoff. Yeah. It's just a stupid comment. He's not a serious person. Kellyanne Conway is holding on for dear life for some kind of popularity because she wants to be in the spotlight and Fox News is providing it for her. So I don't take any of these people as serious. My guess is that Superman is going to do just fine because the brand of Superman is bigger than whatever saggy ass brand that
saggy ass brand
that Greg Gutfeld has.
So, but you know how it goes though, Amy. Nobody's thinking about this until Like Fox News is heavily influential. We know it is. It has been in this country for 20-something years. We know that.
But I would hope
But
that
until
like
they
Brett
make it
Baer is probably even viewed on Fox News different than Greg
Well,
Gutfeld.
of course, I agree with you, but you know how the conversation starts. And usually it starts with a show like that where you're the average person. You have maybe seen the trailer or there are multiple trailers for Superman. And if you like Superman, you're thinking, oh, I can't wait to go see that. And if you have a conservative leaning and you watch Fox News and then you hear Gutfeld do this and Conway and Jesse Waters, and then you see Clay Travis, maybe you start to think, oh, well, it's woke. I'm not going to go now. I'm not going to go see this. That's how the conversation always starts. And I think it's disappointing because you're right. None of these people have seen the movie. None of them have seen it.
And
nobody's
also,
gotten an advanced screening of Superman and can come back and report to you that it is, in fact, just an entire woke masterpiece or whatever.
And I do think, though, I even think that the issue that, it's pro-immigrant, like, first of all, we're a country of immigrants. And I think of all this is a super woke take, that one is the weakest because we know that the vast majority of Americans were concerned about the border, 74%, but we also know that the vast majority of Americans are in favor of legal immigration. So if you are picking on something like abortion or like, I don't know, Superman, there is all like everyone's having abortions or something, I don't know, or the trans rights issues, whatever. Those to me also strike me as more of this. Those are the hot topic issues that are going to get people worked up. I think the fact that they're like, Superman's an immigrant from Krypton. It's like, well, first of all, what are you talking about?
That's what Big Blonde Dan texted
Superman.
in. Said Superman is an illegal alien. Think about it.
But he is technically, is he an alien?
Well, yeah, he's from Krypton. That's not from here.
Why does he look so human? Did he take on a different form?
You know, back in
What are
the
the odds?
back in the 30s when they invented Superman, they weren't thinking about
Because
what
if he's an
aliens would look
alien
like.
and an alien showed up and looked like Superman, wouldn't you be like, oh my gosh, I think they mated with humans because they look
Well, I don't
normal.
know. We're calling people from other countries who are humans aliens, and they. So what's the difference? And
Which
here's a
is an old school
texter.
term. Yeah.
A texter who says people are tired of being preached to by Hollywood. And here's the thing. I think that people don't mind being preached to if it's the thing they already think. So you're watching Fox News. All they're doing is preaching to you all night. That's just constant preaching, but you like it.
Well,
you like what they're saying,
you know why,
so
though?
you're willing to hear that. Hollywood has not been apolitical ever. There's always been politics in entertainment.
I will say this.
Always.
And I will say this because I'm not talking about the Superman movie anymore because this is stupid. And this is why when you have a valid issue and then you use stupid, falsified, trivial, or weak evidence to support your argument, you actually just take down the whole argument. And that drives me nuts because or if you overreact or, you swing the other way where you become insane, your initial reason for pushing back, while valid, it totally becomes discredited in people's eyes. So here's what I do want to say. Like, yes, I get the texter point. What he's saying is people are tired of being preached to from Hollywood. Absolutely. We know that the cornerstones of culture, or the commanding heights of culture, as you call it, not you, but as it's called, the academics, Hollywood, yes, the legacy media. We've got Fox News, but there's ABC, NBC, CBS, New York Times, Washington Post, all of these things. We know that they do lean left. Those commanding heights,
they're not far left. I want to make a
news.
distinction though, because
I know
people
you
act
do.
like
I know you do.
because people act like those outlets are so far crazy liberal, and they're not.
Well, I know you feel that
They're
way,
ju-
but
they're just-
as
but they're
someone who's
not.
been a conservative and has followed it, I totally get it. And it's even
See, I think people who sometimes who are like conservative on that side,
Mhm.
if the outlet isn't just flat out right wing, then it's
but
a
you know
liberal
that's not
outfit.
me, and you're talking to me, and you know
I-
that I'm
yeah,
not
I just don't
overly
agree with you on
sensitive.
this.
I know you don't, but I guess my point is what I'm trying to say is, after a while, you get like I get frustrated because I feel like, oh my gosh, there is like this weird smugness from the left, and it came out accidentally when Hillary Clinton accidentally said basket of deplorables. She didn't invent that feeling, but she said out loud what I know the left has thought about conservative or traditional people for a long time. So yes, I'm on one side saying I don't think Superman, no one's seen it. I don't think people should be freaking about it being woke. But one reason why this backlash from the right has happened, and I'm not unique in saying this, The Atlantic had a great piece, and David Brooks had a great piece in The Atlantic of applying this logic to the Ivy Leagues and how the Ivy Leagues broke America. There's this smug, condescending, elitist attitude, which is why people would rather have a billionaire who is crass and vulgar than a billionaire who is an academic elite who thinks you're uneducated and pathetic if you have traditional values.
Yeah, see, I don't think that's it. That to me is an unfair characterization, because what Clinton, my understanding, when way I heard it, she was not talking about all conservative people, but that's how it was taken.
Trump voters.
It was not all Trump voters. It was a certain subsect of Trump voters who she found to be, deplorable, right? She was not talking about everybody who's Republican, everybody who voted for him.
Well,
so I don't
think
agree with that.
Yeah, nuance was there, but at any rate, no one's seen Superman yet. We're pro-immigrant. I think most Americans are pro-immigrant. And Greg Gutfeld and Jesse Waters
but we'll see what
not serious people.
No, but this conversation is going to happen. And I think that's unfortunate. And maybe the movie sucks, but maybe see it on its merits first and then make that determination. Tell us what you think. 314-436-7900. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler for 213 Complex, which is available at supplement superstores. Look, 213 Complex is the most effective and powerful all-natural weight loss supplement ever developed, and here's why. It optimizes thyroid function, and it boosts your metabolism 24 hours a day, while you're sleeping too. So you're burning more stored body fat. Also getting that appetite and craving control that I love. You get all-day focused energy with no jitters, so all you need to do is get out to supplement superstores, tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off 213 Complex. Find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. With thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust us to bring happiness home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. This is National Cancer Survivor Awareness Month, and we are joined by Dr. Lindsay Peterson.
And the program at Siteman Cancer Center is always evolving to address the needs of all of our patients. And so we want to know, what patients need, what we can do for them, and we want to make sure that we're providing those different resources for them.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, go to siteman.wustl.edu.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Get this, 42% of baby boomers don't even know how much money they have in their nest egg. If you're not sure where you stand in terms of getting ready for retirement, you should be listening to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX.
Rolling hot dogs super fat on a fluffy bun. All beef hot dogs rolling in. Hurry, cause they're on the run. Pick your toppings anyway. Roll into this deal. Pick your two, big Q2. Roll and mix a meal. Mustard relish, sauerkraut. Ain't no need to scream and shout. Get 2 all beef hot dogs and a big Q for $5. Only at QT. More than a gas station.
It's the Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium. Explore the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station.
Hey, real quick, congratulations, Kevin from Baldwin. Won tickets for
Hey.
Collective Soul and Live. We're going to give away more tickets here shortly.
I think he's our first Kevin winner. I don't think we've had a Kevin
You
win
never
yet.
had a Kevin winner?
Yeah. I don't
Well, the
think so.
Kevin Wheeler here is not. Are you calling him a loser?
Oh, a Kevin winner.
Oh,
Mwah.
see, okay. We have a voice message, and you can send us a voice message from the Odyssey app. It's super simple to do after our conversation about Superman. Here's Mike.
Yeah, Amy is absolutely right on this point, coming from a fellow never Trump Republican. Yeah, even though that Trump was, of course, speaking as a conservative Christian, a terrible representative for our values, there is a certain sympathy there for how people can get to that point, with what Amy is saying, with that certain smugness, self-righteousness. Again, I definitely see it, but I also don't lose my mind over it, which a lot of conservatives do.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
the
you for
message,
the
Mike.
voice
And you
message.
can always leave us a message on the Odyssey app.
Yep.
Like
we
I
love
said,
it.
really easy to do that.
Thank you, Mike.
Anne is checking in from Illinois. Hello, Anne.
Hello.
Hi. What's up?
Well, I think you kind of got off on a tangent because I thought we were talking about movies and previews and things like that. And and my car and I were fighting over what information it was going to give me while I was driving, and I didn't have your number programmed. But anyway, before COVID, I'm 80 years old, by the way.
Hello.
And before COVID, we went to the show approximately maybe 100 times. It's about 100 movies a year until COVID, and then we kind of got away from it. Yeah. And I always found that, I mean, we watched the previews during the show, that you have to watch. But as far as using them as my guide to go to the movies, I don't believe in them because it's been my experience that they show the part that they think is going to appeal to people. Many times you go by that part preview that you've seen, you think this is going to be great, and it's really awful.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, I've seen some awful movies, and we don't walk out. We watch them to the end, no matter how bad we hate them. And the other thing was that when people go to the movies, the weekend some movie opens up, everybody rushes out to go to the movie. There ought to be a button in the show that you press that says I liked it or disliked it, because just because this was the great sellout of the weekend doesn't mean that everybody liked that movie. But that's what people judge, oh my God, they sold out, so that must be a great movie. And it's really not a good movie. So anyway, that was what I had to say.
Well, thank you, Anne. I appreciate it. I think, though, you get the idea if people liked it or not by the following weekend, because word of mouth happens. Oh, the movie is no good. Don't go see it. And then there's a huge drop off in the box office from the first weekend to the next. So
I like
that's
what you
how
said, though. But as far as don't judge a movie by the trailer, can also be like don't
That's
judge
true.
a movie by reviews, which is true. I find it false advertising.
Do you know
when
what was-
in a trailer? they play parts that aren't in the movie.
Yeah, that happens a lot because
Yeah.
they those things have been edited out.
Yeah.
Because the movie is still being edited
Yeah.
a lot of times when the trailers come out. Shawshank Redemption
Mhm.
from the 90s did not get good reviews.
It's crazy.
And it ended up being the one of the movies that is on all the time. This text message says the fact people will refuse to see a movie based only on other people's opinions from a polarized news channel shows the lack of individual thinking we have going on.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a new phenomenon necessarily. I think people have probably always kind of followed the crowd, but it might be worse now than it was 25 years ago, 30 years ago.
Yeah, because people didn't growing up. I mean, people use the word liberal, which I think I'm classically liberal, so I like to use the word progressive. But the word woke, like that wasn't. People weren't talking in those terms 20 years ago. No one said like,
Well,
"Oh,
they
that's
weren't.
woke."
People would argue about politics.
Yeah.
I think 25, 30 years ago, and they would have heated arguments, but I don't know that there was just a hatred. Like, I mean, we'll get a text message and somebody who knows I have left-leaning thoughts,
Mhm.
and I've been perfectly upfront about that forever. You are on the other side of that, and people are.
Thoughts sounds like you're neurodivergent. Like I've got left-leaning thoughts. I don't know what to do with them.
So, but somebody's like, well, they're already once they know that that's where you are politically, like they hate you, and I think that's crazy stuff.
Yeah,
crazy
you should
because
don't
we all
hate Ranj because of his politics. Hate him for who he is.
see. Yeah, fine. Just hate me for who I am. But I think that's insane behavior to hate some. Like, I don't hate people who are right wing just because they're right wing. I have a lot of really close friends who are absolute right wing nut
Which is
jobs,
weird.
and I love them.
You have more right-wing friends than I do.
I had one at the wedding.
All my friends are
The wedding I went
crazy.
to, Amy, on Saturday, the wedding I went to,
Yeah.
one guy who's gotten more right came up to me and he was like, I don't like your tweets. I'm like, that's okay. I love this guy.
Was
I've
it
known him
Marjorie
forever.
Taylor
It
Greene?
was not. And I've loved this guy forever. And he wanted to start talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
And
No.
I'm like, dude, we can't do this right here. And then he got mad because I wouldn't talk to him about it. And I walked away and that was the end. It was just really bad. And this is a guy I love. I don't hate him.
Hard left turn. Do you watch trashy TV? We have our question of the week, and Ranj, unfortunately, watched The Poop Cruise. It's a real show.
I don't think it was trashy.
He's going to tell us about it next on the Chris and Amy Show.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley telling you about i3 Broadband. You've heard me talk about them. They provide the internet in my home. I love them so much. The reliability is great. Let's talk about price for a moment, though. They've got an introductory rate at $19.99 a month for one of their service options. No bundle ever required. You're going to save $10 a month over the cable company. They've got great pricing on all of their different packages, going up to 8 gigs upload and download speed, always mirrored. See if they're available in your neighborhood. Put your address in at i3broadband.com.
This isn't your typical lunchtime baseball chatter. This is the Gas House Gang.
I'll say this. Here's my perspective.
Tom Ackerman, Chris Ronti, Mike Claiborne, and Bernie Miklasz bring smart, informed Cards talk. And every Tuesday,
we welcome in the manager of the Cardinals, Oliver Marmol.
You want real Cardinals conversation? You're in the right place. The Gas House Gang, weekdays at noon on 104.1 FM KMOX, the voice of baseball.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Mark Cantor at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, so I take this very seriously. Mark is a great attorney. He has a great team. He is from St. Louis. He is local. Call 314-628-9999 or visit cantorinjurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
It's 82 degrees, but it feels like 100. Sunshine, maybe a few clouds today, a high of 91, partly cloudy tonight, a low of 68.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Cardinal Cowboy here. For over 65 years, Renner Garage Door has delivered top-notch service, sales, and installation. Get your free estimate today. RennerDoorSTL.com. Renner, forward and back.
RENNER.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-408-4040. That's 800-408-4040. 800-408-4040.
Two legendary bands, one epic night, Collective Soul, and Live are bringing the rock to St. Louis. Catch their summer unity tour at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater July 17th with special guest Waylon James Rue. Don't miss your chance to hear such hits as Shine, December, I Alone, and All Over You. Collective Soul and Live. Tickets can be found at Ticketmaster.com. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Hey, St. Louis, this is Ben Barnett, board-certified master arborist and owner at Timberline Professional Tree Care. As a local small business owner for the past 24 years, I always do my best to shop local and support our community. Recently, two of the largest tree contractors in the region have sold to out-of-town investment groups. This means that the new owners of these companies are not invested in quality, customer satisfaction, or safety, except for how it affects their bottom line. Timberline Professional Tree Care was founded in 2001 and is focused solely on giving you, the customer, the safest, highest quality product while providing the best customer service before, during, and after the job. I've poured my heart and soul into tree care for the past 24 years, and we aren't going anywhere. When it comes time to take care of your trees, I ask that you shop local and call me, Ben Barnett, at Timberline Professional Tree Care, 636-479-7475, or online at stltreecare.com.
Today, the Cards, the Nationals.
Ameren Total Access 550.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
If everybody had a nose.
Let's give away some more tickets, shall we? Who wants to go see the Beach Boys September 21st at Chesterfield Amphitheater?
Me.
You can't win, but somebody else can. How about caller 5 to the contest line?
That's what I was going to say.
955-1120. 314-955-1120. You better be caller 5. Don't be caller 1. Caller number 5.
Good
luck.
Great luck. All right. Our question of the week, which we meant to debut yesterday, our question of the week is, do you watch trashy TV? Because obviously a lot of people do. I don't. I think it's malformative. But I don't watch like Love Island or Bachelors in Paradise, Naked and Afraid, Naked with the Bachelors.
Love on the Spectrum?
The Island. Yeah. No, I don't like that one.
I love
I'm
that
really
one.
sensitive to the topic of that one because I feel like it can be exploitive pretty quickly.
I think the parents are more exploitative than the actual people putting it together, because the folks who are featured in it they come off as just extremely delightful people, and you root for them, right?
Mhm.
So I don't know that it's sinister, but I think there are some parents who are. At any rate, I agree with you on for the most part, those kinds of shows. I never really liked Judge Judy or Springer.
No.
That kind of stuff. I never really got into it. I don't like Love Island.
No. And there's The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. Nope. Not for me.
Yeah, not into it.
Desperate Housewives. Everything on Bravo, I think, is trashy. Andy Cohen, St. Louis, and I get it, but he loves himself some trashy TV.
Remember when he got offended because I said, I don't know that these folks, like, do you ever look at them and think, what is wrong with these people? He's like, well, no, they're great. And he defended it.
No, really?
Which, yeah.
You can't.
Were you not?
I was there, but I remember it vaguely. I kind of I forgot about that. And like I said, Andy's always fun to talk to on KMOX. But I mean, it's trash TV. That's what Bravo is. That's what Desperate Housewives and all of those shows are. Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So you were watching a TV show.
See, I would not classify this as trash TV.
It's a documentary, isn't it?
This is more poop TV.
So
there is a show on Netflix. Yeah.
Because it's serious.
Mm-hmm.
The name belies the seriousness of the documentary. The name feels goofy.
The name is called Poop Cruise, and it is about it's on Netflix, and it is about the 2013 Carnival cruise that the Triumph was the name of the ship.
Ugh.
And the title of the documentary is Trainwreck Poop Cruise. And I think Trainwreck is a series of brief documentaries. This was like an hour long.
Okay.
But it is about that cruise that lost power. So it left from Galveston, Texas. Do you remember this from like 12 years ago?
What's funny is, no. The only thing I remember about cruises are the norovirus cruises.
Okay.
And I remember with COVID, people getting stuck on cruises, but I do not remember the poop cruise.
I don't know how you don't remember this because it became a huge topic. So the ship leaves from Galveston, goes to Mexico, spends some time in Mexico, and then comes back. On the way back, a fire started in the engine room that ended up burning through like all of the main power lines that powered the entire ship.
That seems bad.
So it lost power for everything. The only thing that was left was like the generators, the emergency generators for like hallway lights. But that was it.
This is a basic question, but when you say everything, you're meaning
everything.
The boat's just bobbing now in the ocean.
The
it has no
boat
engine.
Was adrift in the ocean. So tugboats had to come out and get it and pull it back to shore. So I remember this story because it stuck with me so hard where I thought I'm never getting on a cruise because of this. So the toilets didn't work because they were powered by electricity. So they couldn't flush. And then they started to overflow.
No.
And then there was poopy water all over the place. They were telling people to go in those biohazard plastic
because they
bags.
were supposed to go number 1 in the shower and number 2 in the bags. They handed out bags for people.
So the documentary is about this. And what I thought was really funny was, and sorry to spoil this for you, but at one point, the ship, I don't know who, the director or somebody decided, hey, you know what? This was like 2 days into the crisis. They decided to just give away free booze.
Like open the bar?
Open the bar.
Because wasn't it supposed to be a 4-day cruise that ended up being like 9 or 10 days?
Yeah, it was something like a week and a half.
Oh my gosh.
So without power,
gosh.
it was hot. People were asleep. They dragged their mattresses out onto the deck to sleep outside because it was so hot.
And also people didn't have Wi-Fi. They had no cell service, so you couldn't get the story out.
So the story didn't get out, and then I remember this part that a sister ship, a Carnival sister ship, pulled up alongside of it out in the middle of the ocean, and the people on the poopy boat were able to use the Wi-Fi from the other ship, and they were texting and calling home, telling everybody what was going on because Carnival sent out a press release saying they've lost power, we're working on it, didn't mention the toilet thing. So the toilet thing got out, and then CNN went wall-to-wall coverage with it, and it turned into a huge story.
And they opened the bar. They said, okay, all the booze is free.
Yeah, and then things got out of control, and they shut down the bars because fights started.
Oh, my gosh.
People.
How could you not anticipate that?
I mean.
Let's give a bunch of hot, angry people
Alcohol. Well,
Unlimited.
at first, everybody loved it. Like, wow, at least we're getting something out of this. And then things got out of control. But the worst part about the booze is anybody who's had a lot knows that the more you drink, the more you got to go pee-pee.
Yeah.
And
sometimes more than
sometimes more than that.
No.
And there was nowhere to make it happen.
Oh my gosh.
I can't believe you did not remember the poop cruise because all I think about is the overflowing toilets.
Stop. Yeah, no, I think that's why I probably forgot. It's traumatizing.
Just so you know, that ship is still in service. They didn't sink it,
and
but they should have. They should have made that a one of those man-made coral reef things.
Well, and my understanding too is that the passengers could not sue Carnival because when you sign up for a cruise, it says
It's on the ticket.
We don't guarantee that you'll get food. We don't guarantee that you won't sink to the bottom of
Yes.
the ocean. We don't
Yes.
guarantee your safety or pleasure or anything. And so
Isn't that wild
they
that that
got
was
a
on the ticket?
Free cruise. That was their
Yeah.
compensation.
There were lawsuits filed. I remember the lawsuits being filed, and I think some got settled. But you are right. On the ticket,
Mhm.
it explicitly says
We don't guaranteed safe
you
passage.
don't guarantee safe passage. Like that should be.
And also, I know that there is there has to be some kind of legal boundary or parameter where I couldn't say, you can come to my house, but I don't guarantee that I won't shoot you. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can say we don't guarantee safe passage. At some point, those guarantees have to be usurped by what a reasonable person would assume, because apparently they also say we don't guarantee you like food and water. But of course, that's what I'm paying for.
Right.
I'm paying for food and water. So to me, that can't be a legal disclaimer. If that'd be like I'm buying a t-shirt and they go, well, we can't guarantee you get the t-shirt.
Well, I believe that has been removed from the language of the ticket.
Wow.
Like that can't, because you're not going to get anybody, because nobody knew about that. When you buy tickets for
No.
anything, nobody reads fine print on tickets.
Listen,
Nobody.
Do you know what we all do? Especially since everybody has to sign things and click on things online now, is you get to the terms and agreement, which is in that little box, and you can't click on it till you scroll through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And everyone just scrolls through it and clicks.
That's
That's all you
exactly
do.
right. Nobody is reading all of that.
No.
So they removed that language from the ticket because they know nobody would buy a ticket.
Yeah.
If you knew before you purchased a ticket on a cruise that you had no guarantee of safe passage or food or water, you'd be like, I'm not going.
Yeah. I'm like, listen, I'm not Christopher Columbus.
I know.
This
Yeah, what do you
isn't
think
an
this is?
expedition. This is supposed to be a luxury cruise.
And now thinking about this, the thought of people who are on those wooden ships who were
Mhm.
able to cross the Atlantic on that stuff like 200 years ago, that's
Well, they-
insanity, man.
And I do know that when a boat loses power, you are completely susceptible and at the mercy of the waves.
Yeah.
So when a boat is powering forward, you don't feel it's like everybody who's been on a lake knows that when you're moving forward in a boat, you're just moving forward. There's no like seasickness feeling. How bad was the seasickness issue? Like, was the boat really bobbing and leaning back and forth?
So, I mean, in the film, nobody really
Talked about
mentioned
that
anything
part.
like that. I think they were just sick because of like there was a photo of one guy who had gotten off his bunk and he was in flip-flops.
Oh no.
And when he stepped down into the
Okay.
floor, he was
Okay.
the chef. He was one of the
No.
chefs on the
No.
ship.
Okay.
And it was like up to his ankles. Gross. You would think that this would kill a company. Here's what's amazing about Carnival. So that happened in 2013. Their stock actually went up.
I don't understand.
Like it was at like 32, 40, something like that, between 36, 40, somewhere in that range. It got all the way up to $69 a share in 2017. So it's not like it killed.
Okay.
Like their stock actually went
I know
up.
we always say this. Can you name a company that got killed by a scandal? Because somehow, if Subway and Volkswagen have survived, we should not be survived that Carnival also survived.
What was Volkswagen?
Well, they had two. The first one is they were built for Nazis. They
Oh,
didn't
well,
even
yeah.
change the
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
The People's Wagon. They did.
Yeah.
They didn't even change it. Oh, should we change this? No, it's fine. And then they had the scandal about the emissions when they had pipes that when you did the emissions tests to show that the cars were green, were clean, the pipes something would lift up, go down, pass the test, and then it would.
What?
Go over
I don't
again.
remember this at
That
all.
was a huge multi-million-dollar scandal. So Volkswagen survived both of those. We all know Subway. So, I mean, if Subway managed to be okay and Volkswagen without rebranding, I would have at least rebranded. Change the name.
Well, they did change the name of the ship.
Oh, did they?
So it's no longer the Triumph. It is called the Sunrise.
Oh, geez.
So if you're on Carnival Sunrise, you know that's the poopy ship. Just so you know.
Oh, no.
Yeah. They cleaned it, spent like $100 million to fix it. I agree with you.
You have to sink that sucker.
That thing should be at the bottom of the ocean.
Yes, it should.
Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji. Congratulations, Bob from Wildwood, who's doesn't have to go very far to see the Beach Boys September 21st. Good stuff. We have tickets to give away tomorrow and Friday, too. So if you missed out today, you still have a chance to win on the Chris and Amy Show, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-408-4040. That's 800-408-4040. 800-408-4040.
So you're thinking, great boat, 60 grand, but hey, we can have fun on the water. She's thinking, what, 3, maybe 4 months a year if we're lucky? You're thinking tow ropes and wakeboards. She's thinking granite countertops and undermount sinks. You're back to thinking about summers. But she's thinking about all year, every day, rain or shine. And she's also thinking 3 days and about half the cost. That's right, 3 days and half the cost. Your kitchen or bath can have a completely new look in just 3 days or less. Guaranteed. Top quality products and craftsmanship, 100% satisfaction guaranteed. And you and your family will enjoy it all year, day in and day out, with no tow ropes needed. Now, what are you thinking? Find out more about how your kitchen or bath can be the kitchen or bath of your dreams in just 3 days. Just visit 3daykitchen.com. That's 3daykitchen.com.
3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
We started Neovitin because we wanted to create a multivitamin for ourselves. That's why we focus on quality ingredients and formulas with our multivitamins. Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins are formulated with over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our 4-ingredient physician-formulated proprietary blend for the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins a try for yourself. Find them at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Michael's Baths. Your bathroom might be small, but fixing it can feel huge. Cracked tiles, outdated fixtures, and that tub that's seen better days. Well, at Michael's Baths, we're going to get you the bathroom of your dreams at a price that you can afford. Mike usually comes in 30 to 50% less than the national companies. He is local. He is family owned and operated. He's done this for 30 years, and he is a great guy. 636-775-0800. 636-775-0800 to michaelsbaths.com.
Chris Ranji, Amy Markscores, because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Well, we have our question of the week up at Chris Amy KMOX on Twitter, and the votes are pouring in right now.
Pouring.
Do you watch trashy reality TV? If so, please comment. Which show? Which show do you watch? We know that Matt Pajeski watches
Below Deck occasionally. If it's on, I like to flip it on. It's the show where it's just reality TV of the people who work on the yachts.
Mhm.
And I like to fantasize about maybe that could be my career someday.
Wait, you fantasize about not working
Oh.
with us?
It's not about having a
often?
yacht. You don't fantasize. You just fantasize about working on one.
Well, the way these guys work, I wouldn't call it work. There's a lot of doinking going around and partying. And
A lot of.
Is that where you?
Did you just
is-
say doinking?
There's
is that
a lot
where
of
you hit each
doinking.
other on the head?
Yeah.
Oh my
and you get the
God.
bump on your head,
Yes, it's just like that.
like Bugs Bunny.
But everybody in the show is so good looking, you know. I'm like, wow, this could be my life. But instead, I'm in St. Louis.
Buddy, if you ever say doinking again,
That was me being clean.
that was miserable. Don't ever do that. I hated that.
Remember when you said that's the way it works, baby?
That was worse.
Wait,
Yesterday.
did I say it to a caller?
You said it to me.
Oh,
And then you were so offended with yourself.
yeah, I didn't
I've
like that.
never heard you say that, and
Yeah.
you've never heard you say that.
I did not like that. Did we have a voice message we wanted to get to?
We have a voice message from Jonathan. We're talking about woke movies.
Ah,
I disagree.
Whoa.
Oh,
hello.
Let me cue Jonathan up. I'm still playing some music here. Yeah, this is about you guys talking about the Superman movie.
oh yeah.
I disagree, Amy. The word woke has been around for a while. I would say 20 years is probably about right. I remember as a young man in high school being called a woke white boy. Which is very much a compliment. Don't
I
know
mean-
that it would be considered a compliment by anyone saying that now, but also the word doesn't mean anything like it used to back then. Thanks a lot, Fox, for hijacking such a great word.
I don't think I knew woke 20 years ago.
No,
Did you?
I don't know about 20. I feel
Because
like
20 is pretty. I mean,
I
I
feel like
was
10,
21.
15 probably 10 years ago or so.
Right.
20 seems like a long
20
time.
seems like
but-
a long time, but maybe it was like he said, kind of used in a different, more specific context.
Yeah.
But it definitely wasn't everywhere on the news and everything.
It didn't become a
20 years
pejorative
ago.
until the last 5.
Yeah, I don't think it was, and I don't think it was that well known until the last 5 or 10, as you said.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Below Deck, what is your trashy show? Love Island, Bachelors in Paradise, Naked and Afraid.
I told you I like Love on the Spectrum, but I don't know that it's trashy. I wouldn't
I don't
consider
think
it
it's
that. I
supposed
think
to be.
any
It's not supposed to be
right.
trashy.
So it's really, I just sort of, and I probably shouldn't. I don't like reality TV that much. I don't like it that much. Generally speaking, but I kind of feel like any reality TV is that. So
I don't like reality
that would
TV.
be considered to me
Mhm.
like I would think that's a guilty pleasure. I would call reality shows a guilty
Do you know
pleasure.
what I consider? I was gonna say woke, not woke. Trashy. Do you know what I consider trashy?
No.
The same idea. And again, I'm not joking when I really don't watch it. And I do think for young people, especially, but for anyone who consumes it a lot, I think it's spiritually, relationally, emotionally malformative. All the Mr. Beast stuff. I think that's trashy. I don't like exploiting people. Either it's their need for money or their lust for money. And I know he's like, oh, but he's helping. And I get that there was this whole defense of him because he really is building wells and everything in Africa with his wealth, and he's done other good things. I'm not saying that his ill-gotten gain, that he hasn't used some of it to do good. I do think it's exploiting in its own way, and I do think it's like encouraging the worst selfish, greedy instincts of people. I wouldn't want to be known for that. Hey, I
So-
throw money in a bucket and then I try to get 100 losers to run after it and embarrass themselves on television. I don't
So,
like that.
I don't either. And here's my feeling on people like him. I suppose that if you are doing something for ultimate good, right? Like what your act is ultimately doing something good for people who need it, right?
Yeah.
I guess it's tough to argue against that. However, when it is performative to me, it really turns me off. I hate performative charity and stuff like that, or Remember the Marlins guy? Marlins
Yeah, yeah,
man,
yeah.
he would go to all the ball games. I don't know what happened to him, but he'd go to all the ball games and he'd wear bright orange and sit behind the plate, wear a visor upside
yeah.
down and backwards. And everybody was like, well, he's giving to charity. Like, I don't care because he's doing this so he can be seen.
It is obnoxious and off-putting, but I do have a quick PSA, and this is real. Ladies and gentlemen, someone bought a winning ticket for $249,000 at the Quick Trip at the corner of Chippewa Street and Gravois Avenue in Dutchtown, and it has not been claimed yet, but they sold it. They sold a winning ticket for $249,000, and they're waiting for the person to come claim it. It was the Quick Trip at the corner of Chippewa Street and Gravois.
How long do you have a year?
That
to
sounds
claim it?
familiar. I don't know, but oh my gosh, what if you forgot you bought that ticket and you're listening to the Chris and Amy show?
Well, then you owe us a cut.
I think so. But anyway, if you are that person, call us tomorrow. But yeah, Quick Trip at the corner of Chippewa Street and Gravois Avenue. They are waiting for someone to claim that prize.
Well, wow. Somebody out there is $250,000 richer and they don't even know it.
Insane.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow, 9 o'clock, 9 to noon. Chris and Amy show. Anything you missed on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts, we thank you for listening today. But next, it is the Gas House Gang, Tom Ackerman and me. We'll be joined by Bob Carpenter at 12:30. We'll talk some Cardinals baseball next on KMOX.
Because the brand of Superman is bigger than whatever sorry saggy ass brand that
saggy ass brand.
Hey, it's Debbie Monterey, and between now and the end of the summer,